can save ya, cause this is the season of funky behavior. I came to relax your mind, you can recline. On what? On this here rhyme. I like the style, I'm staying for a while. It helps me show cats that I'm versatile. I'll touch your dial, turn your frown to a smile, or make you feel like you're having a child. So relax and open up, child. I'm about to make you walk what? Pimp style, or pimped out style. You don't understand the logic. See, if you don't have it all, I'll take a deposit. I got shit for you, it's alright indeed. It's like going to the garden and planting the seed. It might tickle for a second, but it won't bleed. So just relax, just hear a dope ride. The vibes is real nice, everything is real fat. You don't have to do work, we do that. It's the type of place where you can wear your hat. Just relax, and just hear a dope ride. The vibes is real nice, everything is real fat. You don't have to do work, we do that. It's the type of place where you can wear your hat. Your entertainment, at the same time, edutainment. In other words, you could call it bent. What I'm saying is that I'm here at your service. It's hard work, but then again, I deserve this. I'm helping people enjoy their spare time. I'm like an instructor when I'm doing my rhyme. Relax and just hear the dope track. It's really not all that, it's not like a gag. We like that when everything is relaxed and chill. You don't have to get fucked up or take pills, cause I like being myself, it feels good. Yo, it makes my meals taste good. 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 So just relax. It's your dope ride. The vibes is real nice, everything is real bad. You don't have to do work, we do that. It's the type of place where you can wear your hat. Just relax and hear a dope ride. The vibes is real nice, everything is real bad. You don't have to do work, we do that. It's the type of place where you can wear your hat. Just relax. My mind state, now balloon, it won't inflate. Just take the buzz, this much wiser kid, fuck the shade. And take it to a lower level, and dig a ditch for a devil. Got some more kids and pass the shovel. Dig a hole, take them on a spiritual roll. Lyrics unfold, either that or unroll the scroll. Episodes keep reoccurring and stifling. People's vision get blurring, their hearts start murmuring. I'm about 5 times iller than a Sherman. Introspection is God's gift to the miracle. I freak material, lamb's milk without the cereal. When MCs say your booty, they mean venereal. Your fake material hip-hop killers, they more faking than fucking Michael Jackson and Thriller. The status of a hoe, Quanto Costa. They wanna know how much it costs, kid, I bet for keep to me just relax, and just hear a dope ride. The vibes is real nice, everything is real fat. You don't have to do work, we do that. It's the type of place where you can wear your hat. Just relax, and just hear a dope ride. The vibes is real nice, everything is real fat. You don't have to do work, we do that. It's the type of place where you can wear your hat. Just relax.
Check 1 2 1 2 1 2. All right. All right, y'all. Welcome, everybody. We back again. And yes, as you all have probably heard, I don't know, the news goes pretty fast these days, you know, with the advent of social media and the advent of the internet. You know what I'm saying? And but it appears that, damn, Jeffrey Epstein, as we were getting a taste of last night, he doesn't seem to like Trump at all. And it basically, I think this last email dump, I think this is the end of Trump, you know, because they have gotten away with trying to make excuses and make it seem like it's not that bad. I mean, I don't know. Sometimes when you have ideas like myself, even a year ago, I'm thinking, no, this shit is horrible. There's way more to this story than has come out. Right. And everyone was waiting for the Epstein files to be released. Right. You know, just whatever the FBI has. But already in the public sphere, one could deduct that the shit is really, really a lot worse than what they say. For in the beginning, it seemed like the media or legacy media was leaning towards, it's not certain, and not even just legacy media, but the experts were, there's no evidence of blackmail and, just things like this. And it's like now there's clear evidence of blackmail because guess what? The people who had audio taped and interviewed Epstein had already been saying that people that knew him just said this guy's obviously blackmailing people. I mean, why would you have, first of all, I said this like a year ago, why would you have an extensive audio recording setup, audio and visual recording setup in all your homes if you're not blackmailing people? I mean, what would the point be? You see what I mean? You just know right off the bat, dude is blackmailing people. You have to know that because nobody has that much audio video capabilities if they're not recording something. Secondly, how are you going to be arranging thousands and thousands and thousands, 1,000 women or girls, to be trafficked? That's a whole lot of work. Obviously, nobody does that for fun. You see what I mean? There has to be a bigger picture. If it was just for fun, then what would you do? You would have a favorite couple and you would never leave your house, right? Or they would just be with you at all times, right? But 1,000? Nah, that's work. When you got 1,000, that's goddamn work. And of course, the guy was a pervert, obviously. But I always felt like there has to be way more to this, that it has to be blackmail. It has to be espionage. And, you get fooled because a lot of folks just don't believe that. You will see people be like, nah, it's probably not that. Nah, you being crazy, especially the Trump sycophants, the people that really kick, nonsense for MAGA. It's like, no, not blackmail. No, it can't be that they blackmail Trump. And anytime it connects with Trump, it couldn't be. It can't be. It can't be worse. When already the things that are known about Trump publicly suggest really bad things, like the helicopter crash. I was saying, helicopter crash Trump had in the 90s or in the 80s. 3 casino executives, all 3 from each different casino. They all come to the helicopter, get on it, and crash. What does that sound like to you? I mean, what does that sound like? I mean, to me, I know casinos tend to wash money when criminals own it, right? I mean, and they, cook the books, right? So what would be the best way to get away with a crime? You would cook the books, and then the people that are the ones cooking the books all conveniently crash on a helicopter. How are you going to interview them when they dead? You see what I mean? How are they going to lead back to Trump when they're dead? You see what I'm saying? I mean, that's obvious what it's screaming. That helicopter crash is screaming for an investigation, right? But they never had an investigation. No investigation was really done on that, right? Which lets you know that, damn, this is either a guy that can pull a lot of strings, but this was in New Jersey. That's right next to New York. So obviously Trump got strings there, let alone this attachment to the Russian mafia. I mean, that was known in the same time period. And now it seems like a lot of these emails tend to back up some of that Russian contact. It seems like Epstein, number one, it's obvious. It doesn't matter how. How he would have connections to Russians. It doesn't matter the how. You already know that Trump did. So if Trump was hanging out with Epstein, you already know that the Russian mob or Russian spies have access, contact to Epstein too. You already know that, or anything else they want. You see what I mean? So it just automatically occurred to me that no, they must have some kind of knowledge, because that's exactly what a spy would want to know. So if Trump had any Russian spies around him, obviously they would want to know what's going on with Epstein too. So they would be around Epstein too. But apparently these emails say that Epstein was in contact with them. Who else was involved? If there's other people that he knows about or doesn't know, I don't know. But the emails make it very clear right now that he was intending on giving information, dirt on Trump to them, and was already admitting to have done it in the past. You see what I mean? Now you have this you got this recent news article where it's saying that this foreign what was it, defense person from Russia is saying that foreign secret service, private police agent for the Russians, say that no, they've had dirty compromising shit. They got their own set of dirty compromising shit on Trump. So I don't know. To me, it seems like the truth is already out, and the only thing that could be coming out of these FBI files is things that are 100 times worse. I mean, what we already know, what's pretty much been substantiated. Of course, you could say Epstein's lying if you want. You could say everybody's lying except Trump. Anybody saying anything negative about Trump, corroborating other people's stories about Trump, all the women, all the victims are lying. Everybody. So the victims are lying. Michael Wolff is lying. Epstein was lying to Maxwell, and Maxwell was lying to Epstein in the emails. All of that is just, you got to take that out of the picture. And Trump is the only one who's telling the truth. It's either that or Trump has been doing all this shit that these people say he's been doing. So I don't know. You be the judge. But personally, me, I'm really having a hard time understanding what's taking Congress so long, man. I mean, actually, I also heard that MAGA Mike Johnson might be complicit. I mean, couldn't that be true? I mean, I don't know. Complicit in what way? But it's obviously people are complicit, because this is way more than impeach. This shit says way more than impeachment. I mean, this shit was saying impeach last week. But right now, with everything they have, that says impeachment plus 1,000 times. So what is making these people keep on the brakes? Yeah. But in any case, let's go on. Let me see who's in the chat there. That's Bits, right? What's up, Bits? Yes. And thank you. Also, I saw you gave out some memberships last night. Thank you. I appreciate that. Yo, we got to rap soon. We got to rap about that. What someone said, why would he blackmail people? Yeah, exactly. Duh. Why would Jeffrey Epstein blackmail people? I don't understand that. Why would he do that? What do you think? I mean, what do you think? For ice cream or chocolate bars, baby? Some piece of candy? Would he do it for candy? Would he do it for ice cream? Would he do it for cotton candy? I don't know. Would he do it for a trip to the amusement park? You tell me. Out of all the things you could do it for, what do you think he was doing it for? This is literally a message in the chat. You see what I'm saying? Trolls be trolling. And but in any case, click like on the video. Let's carry it on from here. And thank you for joining me.
CNN Breaking News.
All right, we do have breaking news in the Jeffrey Epstein investigation. Democrats on the House Oversight Committee, minutes ago, literally, releasing emails that they say were written by Jeffrey Epstein that explicitly, specifically mention Donald Trump by name and in context that we really haven't heard before. Let's get right to Caitlin.
Like nasty, disgusting.
Collins.
It's so many direct comments made about him that one of them says he crashed into a glass door looking out into the pool where young girls were swimming at Epstein's place. Like he was so fixated on them, he didn't even realize the glass door was closed and walked right into it. Like, there's an email saying that, it's loads of emails. I mean, they're saying in one of the emails, Epstein says Donald Trump is the most disgusting person. I believe he said something like that. The most disgusting person I know, or the worst something person I know. And then someone else he was talking, chatting with in the message, and they were responding, he's disgusting, he's sickening, like in person, like he's more disgusting than what you would ever imagine in person. So what we see on TV, in person, he's even more disgusting. Like,
Who's got this reporting, Caitlin? What are you learning?
Yeah, John, these are emails that show Jeffrey Epstein mentioning Donald Trump by name multiple times in private correspondence that he had with people, including Ghislaine Maxwell, obviously his longtime associate and accomplice, and also the author Michael Wolff, in a time span of about the last 15 years or so in these emails. Now, these are coming out from the House Oversight Committee. They had issued a bipartisan subpoena to Jeffrey Epstein's estate, John, as you know, earlier this year. And so they've gotten their hands on a trove of documents. And these are emails that included Jeffrey Epstein on them. They were sent either to him or from him that mentioned Donald Trump before he was in office and also while he was in office during his first term. And I want to walk you through these emails of what exactly we are reading in Jeffrey Epstein's own words.
This is disgusting. Yo, Bits, exactly. Anyone who can support Trump after this shows how much MAGA is a cult. Exactly. They're just purposely wanting to follow him. There's nothing else to it. It's like knowing, basically, if you're following him at this point, it's not that you don't believe that these things are true. It's that you're cool with it and you like it, essentially.
These emails that have been released by the House Oversight Committee. And in one of them, Jeffrey Epstein says, and I should note, Trump did not send or receive any of these messages. He's not a party to these emails, John, but these are emails from Jeffrey Epstein to Ghislaine Maxwell. This is one from April 2nd, 2011. And in this email, Jeffrey Epstein writes to Ghislaine Maxwell and says, quote, "I want you to realize that the dog that hasn't barked is Trump. There's a name that's redacted, which the House Oversight Committee has said is a victim of Jeffrey Epstein's. Obviously, we have not been able to independently confirm that because her name is redacted from this email. But they say redacted spent hours at my house with him. He has never once been mentioned. Police chief, etc. I'm 75% there." Ghislaine Maxwell
Let me see something here. Can y'all see that? Let me make sure that text is the best possible text we can have here. Boom. Let me pull that right back. It should be a little better now.
2011, and in this email, Jeffrey Epstein writes to Ghislaine Maxwell and says, quote, "I want you to realize that the dog that hasn't barked is Trump. There's a name that's redacted, which the House Oversight Committee has said is a victim of Jeffrey Epstein's. Obviously, we have not been able to independently confirm that because her name is redacted from this email. But they say redacted spent hours at my house with him. He has never once been mentioned. Police chief, etc. I'm 75% there." Ghislaine Maxwell responds to that email, John, and says, quote, "I have been thinking about that." Now, there's no context for that message in this release of what we're getting. Obviously, this was a time span, and this was about 3 years after Jeffrey Epstein had accepted what is now known as that sweetheart deal that only got him a few months in prison, and something that came under a ton of scrutiny during Donald Trump's first term in office because of his then Labor Secretary, Alex Acosta, who helped negotiate that plea deal, that sweetheart deal, for Jeffrey Epstein at the time. And so that's the context of this came about 3 years after he had negotiated that plea deal, John. And there's also other emails that have been released by the committee this morning, including between Jeffrey Epstein and Michael Wolff. People will remember Michael Wolff, of course, the author who wrote a book on the inner workings of Trump's West Wing back in 2018 during his first term. He is someone who has talked at length about his own correspondence with Jeffrey Epstein, published audio recordings of those conversations between the two of them. And in another email, and this seems to be a reference to Donald Trump saying that he kicked Jeffrey Epstein out of his Mar-a-Lago club.
Right. So Trump went on TV all those times and repeatedly and even Caroline Leavitt repeatedly. Now, keep in mind, Jeffrey Epstein is dead, right? So in the law of criminality, you kill someone, you're silencing them. So these messages are coming back from the dead, really, because if you were someone who wanted to silence Jeffrey Epstein, you wouldn't want these emails coming to light. You wouldn't want his words or his ideas. You see what I mean? Being shown, right? You would want to end it. You would want it finished, right? But in this case, his emails get leaked. And in the emails, the guy is actually refuting shit that Trump has said just like a year ago, where Trump keeps saying, no, man, we stopped being friends once I found out about this one girl. And Epstein, he was a member at my club at one time, and then I canceled his membership. Now, all of a sudden, the email comes out where it proves that, well, he's saying like Epstein is like, I was never a member of his club. This is crazy. This is crazy. I'm sorry, but this is just a game. I mean, anyone trying to think, if you really think Trump did not do this shit, something's wrong with you at this point. You don't have to want Trump to have been guilty. It's just all this shit is screaming guilt. What do you want next? Like a letter to be found? I mean, this is how it's going to go down. You can refute this all you want. But what will be happening when they release this stuff from the FBI? I mean, I don't know for sure, but what it appears to be is that you are going to get actual video, photographs, and other stuff that is way, way worse. Anyway, so why? But not to say this shit is already bad. These emails are bad enough. Everything else is already way bad. A normal person wouldn't need more. A businessman, if you were his boss, if you were his partner, if you were an investigator, a police officer, you would already believe he did it. Even if you didn't have the as they say, the murder weapon. Even if you didn't have the corpse, you would believe definitely with everything that you saw that this man is involved in this shit 100%. So that's impeachable in itself. You don't need the gun to impeach him. You don't need, actually, you could prosecute him with all of this stuff. I mean, people have gone to jail with less evidence. People have gone to jail of things with less evidence, like straight up. So, but in any case, involving the impeachment, man, do they need any more? Like, this is crazy.
Audio recordings of those conversations between the two of them. And in another email, and this seems to be a reference to Donald Trump saying that he kicked Jeffrey Epstein out of his Mar-a-Lago club. And Jeffrey Epstein writes to Michael Wolff and says, quote, Trump said he asked me to resign. And he adds, John, never a member ever. Of course, he knew about the girls as he asked.
You said it must be a bot. Yeah, somebody in the chat is talking about President Trump was on the list. They would have, if he was on the list, they would have released it already. Or so, what is this? If President Trump was on the list, they would have released it when Biden would. Yeah, this is some bot bullshit. Who now? They just going to keep repeating that over and over and over. All right. Anyway.
To stop. Now, again, we don't have the. He asked me to resign.
All right. Hold on.
To Michael Wolff and says, quote, Trump said he asked me to resign. And he adds, John, never a member ever. Of course.
Okay. There we go. Let's make this a little bigger here. Right. Okay. So it says.
He knew about the girls as he asked Ghislaine to stop.
Oh, he knew about the girls as he asked Ghislaine to stop. So this is, what the heck? Hold on, y'all. Hold on. 2 seconds here. All right. Right here. So it says, where is this at? Unauthorized. Okay. Mar-a-Lago. Trump said he asked me to resign. Never a member ever. Of course he knew about the girls as he asked Ghislaine to stop. So he knew about the girls and he asked her to stop what? Stop sending the girls over to him or stop offering him girls? I'm just curious about that, like what that really means. But let me bring this back down. Okay, y'all, let's hear some more.
Now, again, we don't have the context of this email, but John, that comes as in recent months.
Yeah, lock him up already.
Trump himself and the White House say that Jeffrey Epstein was kicked out of Mar-a-Lago for being a creep, and Trump himself told reporters on Air Force One that he was trying to poach women, he and Ghislaine Maxwell, from the Mar-a-Lago spa, and that was why they had such a falling out, and why he ultimately asked Jeffrey Epstein to leave the Mar-a-Lago club.
They just said poach women. Like, this is not, the language keeps getting more telling, like really, but
Now, there's also a third email in here, John, and this is, again, in regards to Jeffrey Epstein and Michael Wolff. and Michael Wolff emails Jeffrey Epstein. And this is back in December 15th, 2015. So the height of the 2016 campaign, just to put that in perspective for you. And it was the day of a CNN Republican primary debate. And Michael Wolff says, quote, "I hear that CNN is planning to ask Trump tonight about his relationship with you, either on air or in a scrum afterwards." And Epstein wrote, "If we were able to craft an answer for him, what do you think it should be?" Michael Wolff responded at length, John. I'll summarize it, but he said in regards to Trump, "I think you should let him hang himself. If he says he hasn't been on the plane or to the House, then that gives you a valuable PR."
So this proves that basically Jeffrey Epstein was basically trying to set Trump up. He was blackmailing Trump, blackmailing Trump, or for what reason was he doing it? Who knows? Was it for money? Was it out of anger? What was the point? You know what I mean? But it proves that he was up to something, trying to get Trump, trying to blackmail Trump. I mean, that's what it is. The guy's running for president, and now you're putting this information out there. And he continued to. I mean, he's talking to this guy before, while Trump is running for office, and he's talking to this guy while Trump becomes the president. I mean, when he gets locked up, he's talking to this guy, giving the goodies, talking to Wolff, showing him pictures and photographs of Trump with girls, allegedly, according to Michael Wolff. Right now, it's assumed that the FBI has seized those photographs when they raided his home and other materials, other things, right? But obviously, that's what people want to know. I mean, and this would implicate like Kash Patel, Pam Bondi. Because how could you know that these things are out there and you cover them up? Like, how could you do that? You see what I mean? It's obviously a matter of great importance to the public. The public needs to know, like, is this verifiable? Is this real? You cannot in any way, shape, or form have a person who has been sexually assaulting minors, a person who is being blackmailed, a person who may be getting blackmailed by other sources like Putin just because they have video. You can't have a president like that. Period. It just doesn't work at all. A lot of other shit works. That can't work. You can never make that work. That only fucks up everything about anything you have as a country. To have the president being blackmailed by tapes of him being on with little girls, tapes and pictures, photographs and all of this shit. Like, that is of the. And if they are covering this shit up, they are complicit. They are totally complicit. If someone is blackmailing Trump, you can't hide it. If someone's blackmailing the president of the United States and getting him to do things, make decisions for you, like, for example, don't defend Ukraine, or, for example, go after your allies for the enemy. What if the enemy has the tapes and the enemy is saying they got tapes? You can't cover this shit up if this shit is real. That makes, and every day you're finding out that, this shit is too real. Damn, I don't know. I mean, can I say this any better? I'm sorry, y'all. You tell me what it looks like. To me, this shit looks like these people are in deep, deep trouble. And look, this is my message. Kash Patel, Pam Bondi, step down. Just step down. Just step down. Just step down. Anybody who's not a career Department of Justice person, a career FBI person, a unbiased person, leave. Anyone that's been appointed by Trump, just step down while you are ahead. Stop the charade. Just stop the charade, man. People are tired of this.
Political currency. You can hang him in a way that potentially generates a positive benefit for you, or if it really looks like he could win, you could save him generating a debt. Now, I'll note, John, we looked at the transcript of that CNN debate from December 2015. There's no mention of Jeffrey Epstein in there.
Facts. Bondi needs to go to prison. Like, they all need to go to prison. This is ridiculous. There's no way what they're doing is legal right now. If any of this is real, them just sitting there trying to protect this dude, that's treasonous. That is treasonous.
And of course,
especially if you know that he's been blackmailed, especially if you found out that he committed crimes by the evidence that's been seized. If they know he's committed crimes, they're complicit.
As I mentioned, Donald Trump himself is not a party to these emails. But what this shows is Jeffrey Epstein mentioning Donald Trump by name multiple times at a moment here in Washington when their relationship has come under incredibly intense scrutiny, John.
Running her.
All right, do me a favor, click the like button, y'all. Let's get to the next part of this. Yeah, this is just a total fiasco. I don't know what else to say. You know, this is it's just getting worse and worse. I can't anticipate anything else happening but people getting the pictures and the photographs. Like, it's coming out. I don't see any way, shape, or form that they don't have photographs, videos, and other damning information about Donald Trump. You know, there could be other. Don't forget the Steele dossier. The whole idea about the Steele dossier, the P tapes, you know, the prostitutes peeing on Trump, the whole idea, something like that, right? Isn't it something like that? Whatever, the Steele dossier. The whole idea about the Steele dossier is that Trump said it's a hoax. So everyone just said, or everyone in MAGA just said, it's a hoax. It's a hoax. It's not real. Well, what if it is real? I mean, why wouldn't it be real if all this shit is coming out? Why wouldn't the Steele dossier be real? You see what I mean? Like, and the guy who put it together is saying it is fucking real. He never said it was fake. The agent from the Brits never said the shit was fake. Anyway, we're going to review the Steele dossier because apparently something got pissed on by some prostitutes in Russia, you know, and is it Trump? I mean, you tell me, is that what happened to Trump? If you heard about the Steele dossier, let me know. We're going to review it anyway. Let's see here.
Context surrounding any of these emails. But that first email you read, the language absolutely jumps out to me. This is April 2nd, 2011. Epstein writes to Ghislaine Maxwell, I want you to realize the dog that hasn't barked is Trump, blank. And blank here is one of the alleged victims of Jeffrey Epstein. A victim spent hours at my house with him being Trump. He has never once been mentioned. Now, again, we don't have the context surrounding that, Caitlin, but
let me see something here. Let me see. What did that say? Let me take a look. They said the date was what? They said the date was... One second. What did they say the date was? April 12th, 2011. Okay, April 12th, 2011. Yeah, okay. So that is before he was arrested. That was after he was arrested the first time and before he was arrested the second time. Right? So
Trump, he is never one of the alleged victims of Jeffrey Epstein. A victim spent hours at my house with him being Trump. He has never once been mentioned. Now, again, we don't have the context surrounding that, Caitlin.
You see that? So that sounds like what Epstein is saying, because obviously, you know, when you're up to this kind of stuff and you got security issues, right? Email is obviously something, you know, any kind of written transcription and messaging, you know, you would want to code it through your own words. I mean, right? Just to make sure that only the intended person would really know what you're talking about. So in this case, it sounds like he's verifying that Trump was with some women through talking, with some girls through talking around it in a way saying he was with them for several hours, but he doesn't explicitly say he slept with them because he doesn't want, if anyone gets a hold of his communications, he doesn't want anyone to know. He wants everyone to deal directly with him. So he's coding it, right? But essentially, that's what it sounds like he's saying to me. And he's asking her, he's verifying it with Ghislaine Maxwell, like she knows it and they're talking about it. And then he's saying, well, how come he's never been brought up? How come the police never reviewed it? Why did they, and that's interesting because Epstein was arrested. He was adjudicated. He had to go through all of this shit to get himself free, right? Which he was doing. Right. And then it sounds like he's saying, why the fuck they arrest Trump's ass?
House with him.
Listen to this.
And blank here is one of the alleged victims of Jeffrey Epstein. A victim spent hours at my house with him being Trump. He has never once been mentioned.
Yes.
Now, again, we don't have the context surrounding that.
Sounds like that he's saying he expected that Trump would be arrested for some of this shit that he's involved in, not just him. I'm just saying that's what it sounds like to me, right? And he definitely sounds like by this time he's already pissed off at Trump, not liking him. And by the way, sounds like Ghislaine Maxwell is quite aware that Epstein does not like Trump at this point. And so I guess these two guys are so close and their circles are so close. And up in that echelon, when you get there with these billionaire people, the circle is so small that they have ties and contacts with each other. So apparently Epstein, they're saying he had inroads to Trump the entire time. He knew what Trump was doing every other day. He could just pick up the phone and ask somebody, this kind of thing up until the point when he was arrested. But let's go on.
But this kind of language from Jeffrey Epstein himself, how often has Donald Trump, what has Donald Trump said about contact he may have had or time he may have allegedly spent with some of Epstein's alleged victims?
Yeah.
Yep. Time, AKA how much time you use with them, assaulting them.
And John, just to be clear, the woman, the person whose name is redacted here was redacted by the House Oversight Committee before they put this out. That has been a huge point of focus. he's not talking to Maxwell. He's talking to another woman. All right. He's talking to another woman and they redacted her name. Okay. Damn. That's very interesting. Do you all know who that woman was? If you know who that woman was, put her name in the chat. Let me know what you think. As people have demanded the release of these documents is to be able to protect the survivors and the victims. We have not been able to independently verify who this person is. The committee is the one doing the redacting here. But obviously he is referencing someone who Jeffrey Epstein says in this email from 2011 that spent time with Donald Trump at his house. And so we've asked the White House for comment on this morning. Obviously, these are emails that predate his time in office this term. They span about 15 years, this correspondence that's being released. And Trump has denied that he knew anything about what Jeffrey...
Wait a second. 1 second here. Let me just take one more look at this real quick. I want you to realize that the dog that hasn't barked is Trump. Blank is the victim, right? Victim spent hours at my house with him. He has never once been mentioned, police chief. He's never once been mentioned. Exactly. I.e. to the police chief. I'm 75% there. And he is talking to Ghislaine Maxwell. I'm sorry. So they redacted the victim's name. So Ghislaine Maxwell is co-signing, like she's aware of this. You know what I mean? And she knows that Epstein doesn't like Trump, basically. And she knows that this guy's trying to get Trump fucking locked up. That's what this tells me. I don't know what it tells y'all. You tell me what it tells you. If you think I got it pretty much right, put a 1 in the chat. And if you don't, give me your alternative theory.
Trump, he has never once been mentioned. Now, again, we don't have the context surrounding that, Caitlin, but this kind of language from Jeffrey Epstein himself.
Somebody said, gotta know the timeline. That was 2011. So that's between the first time he was adjudicated and arrested and the second time. The first time was like 2006, 2007, something like that. Or was it 2009? In any case, it's between those 2 points.
How often has Donald Trump, what has Donald Trump said about contact he may have had or time he may have allegedly spent with some of Epstein's alleged victims?
Yeah, and John, just to be clear, the woman...
Hey, I see we got Caroline Levitt in the chat.
The person whose name is redacted here was redacted by the House Oversight Committee before they put this out. That has been a huge point of focus as people have demanded the release of these documents, is to be able to protect the survivors and the victims. We have not been able to independently verify who this person is. The committee is the one doing the redacting here. But obviously he is referencing someone who Jeffrey Epstein says in this email from 2011 that spent time with Donald Trump at his house. And so we've asked the White House for comment on this morning. Obviously, these are emails that predate his time in office this term. They span about 15 years, this correspondence that's being released. And Trump has denied that he knew anything about what Jeffrey Epstein was doing and the sex trafficking of young women. And he said that he wasn't aware of that at the time. And obviously, Trump himself has not been accused of any wrongdoing.
It's so funny how they say that. Yeah, Michael Wolff definitely have a whole lot. Shit, we're about to get into it. Michael Wolff has more than anybody else, any single individual, I would think, outside of the estate. You know, these emails, they're coming from the estate, right? And these are, wow. These are wowers. Just like that picture that they say Trump, you know, that birthday picture Trump wrote, that's from the estate, you know, but the FBI's got to have all this shit too, right? I mean, I'm thinking, how would you raid his homes and not talk to the estate, not want to see what the estate has? I don't understand that. I mean, I don't understand it. I don't understand it.
Hours at my house with one of Epstein's victims of like anything.
Next week on the discharge petition. What's the latest?
Well, in your mind's eye, try to picture 23,000 pages of like anything. That's what we got yesterday.
Yeah, this is a lot of information, you know, so it's going to take some time for people to figure out what's in there. And but in any case,
from the
it's
Department
coming.
of Justice, but just from the Epstein estate to the House Oversight Committee, 23,000 pages, including emails from Epstein himself. From 2011, from 2019, just before he died by suicide. Democrats spotlighted some of those emails and released them publicly, including emails in which Epstein wrote in 2011 to Ghislaine Maxwell, his co-conspirator, that Trump had spent a lot of time at the Epstein home. In 2019, an email from Epstein released by Democrats yesterday says that, of course, Trump knew about the girls and had urged Ghislaine Maxwell to stop. This is a lot of what we're seeing in a broader investigation. More than 6 years after disgraced and convicted sex predator Jeffrey Epstein died by suicide, U.S. House Democrats released on Wednesday a series of his private messages mentioning President Trump.
I think pretty serious stuff, disturbing stuff in these emails.
The emails include this one from Epstein to his co-conspirator Ghislaine Maxwell in 2011, in which he wrote that Trump had spent hours at my house with one of Epstein's victims. The White House identified that victim as Virginia Giuffre, who said she was recruited by Maxwell while working at Mar-a-Lago and died by suicide in April.
Jeffrey was a sick pedophile.
But in a 2016 deposition, Giuffre said she didn't think Donald Trump participated in anything. And in a separate newly released message from 2019, Epstein wrote to author Michael Wolff about Trump. Of course he knew about the girls, as he asked Ghislaine to stop, though it's unclear what exactly he had asked her to stop doing. Wolff, whose writings have sparked controversy in the past, reacted to the email Wednesday night on a podcast with the Daily Beast.
Donald Trump and Jeffrey Epstein had this deep relationship. They knew everything about each other. Their obsession was women, girls, models.
The emails were part of approximately 23,000 pages of records handed over by Epstein's estate to the Republican-led House.
Yeah, hold on. You said, what did they say? That's not how she died? Let me go back here. Yeah, that's true. I heard that also. I thought that was a little funny how they lined that up. But let's play it back here real quick.
Mentioning President Trump.
I think pretty serious stuff, disturbing stuff in these emails.
The emails include this one from Epstein to his co-conspirator Ghislaine Maxwell in 2011, in which he wrote that Trump had spent hours at my house with one of Epstein's victims. The White House identified that victim as Virginia Giuffre, who said she was recruited by Maxwell while working at Mar-a-Lago and died.
So that is this right? So they're really talking about her? So why are they saying the name has been redacted and they can't confirm it? But I guess they're putting the story together. I guess CBS is going on the line here. It sounds like CBS is saying that's who they think was the person that they're talking about, but the name has been redacted, right? That's interesting. Wow. So that, but I'm not getting it. That doesn't. So maybe they're confusing it. They're saying that Giuffre was et. I'm not getting this, y'all. I'm missing this. I'm sorry. I'm missing this.
To his co-conspirator Ghislaine Maxwell in 2011, in which he wrote that Trump had spent hours at my house with one of Epstein's victims.
Okay, one of Epstein's victims, and that victim was...
The White House identified that victim as Virginia Giuffre, who said she was recruited by Maxwell while working at Mar-a-Lago and died by suicide in April.
So are they confirming that Donald Trump spent hours with Virginia Giuffre? Is that what they're doing? Yo, Bits, you tell me. What do you think? Is that what's going on? Like, wow. I that's what it sounds like to me. That's what it sounds like to me without them saying it. But this is if they're saying that, damn, this is a blockbuster.
Ghislaine Maxwell in 2011, in which he wrote that Trump had spent hours at my house with one of Epstein's victims. The White House identified that victim as Virginia Giuffre, who said she was recruited by Maxwell while working at Mar-a-Lago and died by suicide in April.
Jeffrey was a sick pedophile.
But in a 2016 deposition, Giuffre said she didn't think Donald Trump participated in anything. And in a separate newly released message from 2019...
So, yeah, it sounds like they have something mixed up here because she said this is exactly what she said several times, that she didn't think Donald Trump did anything. But I'm curious about this, like, because if it wasn't her, then who is it? You know, I mean, that's the bottom line. Maxwell would know who that is.
Epstein wrote to author Michael Wolff about Trump. Of course he knew about the girls, as he asked Ghislaine to stop, though it's unclear what exactly he had asked her to stop doing. Wolff to stop. Right. Wolff about Trump. Of course he knew about the girls, as he asked Ghislaine to stop.
Okay, of course he knew about the girls because he asked her, Ghislaine, to stop, right? Let me see something here. Let me pull this back like this. Let me make sure everybody can see this. Let's see here.
Wolff about Trump. Of course he knew about the girls, as he asked Ghislaine to stop. Though it's Trump, separate newly released message from 2019, Epstein wrote to author Michael Wolff about Trump. Of course he knew about the girls, as he asked Ghislaine to stop. Though it's unclear what exactly he had asked her to stop doing. Wolff, whose writings have sparked controversy in the past, reacted to the email Wednesday night on a podcast with the Daily Beast.
To stop
Donald
providing
Trump
girls?
And Jeffrey Epstein had this.
Is it to stop providing girls, or what is it? I mean, it sounds like they were providing girls to Trump. I mean, then again, you know, it's just a guess. But when I hear it from this context, it sounds like they're providing girls to Trump on a normal basis. And now they're saying, stop doing it. You know, I don't know. It's just a thought.
Asked Ghislaine to stop. But in a 2016 deposition, Giuffre said she didn't think Donald Trump participated in anything. And in a separate newly released message from 2019, Epstein wrote to author Michael Wolff about Trump. Of course he knew about the girls, as he asked Ghislaine to stop.
Of course he knew about the girls, as he asked Elaine to stop. That's what it sounds like to me. Like they were bringing girls to Trump, essentially.
It's unclear what exactly he had asked her to stop doing.
I mean, what else could it be?
Wolf, whose writings have sparked controversy in the past, reacted to the email Wednesday night on a podcast with the Daily Beast.
Donald Trump and Jeffrey Epstein had this deep relationship. They knew everything about each other. Their obsession was women, girls, models.
The emails were part of approximately 23,000 pages of records handed over by Epstein's estate to the Republican-led House Oversight Committee under subpoena. Trump has frequently denied any wrongdoing, and he's dismissed calls to release more information.
So this is a Democrat hoax that never ends.
The White House downplayed Trump and Epstein's relationship and blasted Democrats for cherry-picking excerpts.
Jeffrey Epstein was a member at Mar-a-Lago until President Trump kicked him out because Jeffrey Epstein was a pedophile and he was a creep.
You know, this is so interesting because, you know, this goes back to all these statements that Trump has made. I mean, publicly, you know, if you don't make statements at all, sure, there might be people that believe, aha, that's a sign of guilt. But when you make statements publicly, they can also condemn you later, the statements. I mean, because he's got Caroline Leavitt out there saying some very definitive things, you know, like, so they're not saying that Jeffrey Epstein wasn't a creep. They're saying he was a creep. But what if the information changes and now all of a sudden you find out that Trump was hanging out with Epstein after all of this still? And so why are you hanging out with this creep? Or, you know, you see what I mean? Like it could flip on Trump, his own words. Caroline Leavitt's own words could flip on Trump, actually. You know, it just takes a few
approximately
changing factors.
23,000 pages of records handed over by Epstein's estate to the Republican-led House Oversight Committee under subpoena. Trump has frequently denied any wrongdoing, and he's dismissed calls to release more information.
So this is a Democrat hoax that never ends.
The White House downplayed Trump and Epstein's relationship and blasted Democrats for cherry-picking excerpts.
Jeffrey Epstein was a member at Mar-a-Lago until President Trump kicked him out because Jeffrey Epstein was a pedophile and he was a creep.
Meanwhile, a bipartisan group of lawmakers are one step closer to a vote to release all of the Epstein case files.
It basically seems like if he was a creep, then basically if he was a pedophile and creep to her, it seems like that's what's going to come out about Trump, that he was one too. That he is one too. You know, I mean, that's what everything that I see is leading up to that. Like everyone is fine with believing, you know, even the White House, they're all fine with believing Epstein's the creep. He's a weirdo. He's a pedophile. He's a this, he's a that. But so if he is, what about your best friend?
Files held by the Department of Justice. After Democratic Congresswoman Adelita Grijalva of Arizona was finally sworn in Wednesday after nearly 2 months of waiting and became the decisive signature on a petition to force that vote.
With my signing.
Facts. An innocent man would fight to prove his innocence. Yeah, Trump is not doing that. He's just like, it's a Democrat hoax, y'all. All these women out on the Capitol, they're all part of a hoax.
We move one step closer to the truth that they will try to deny, but that survivors deserve.
And the president.
Somebody said, if Trump is so innocent, then why is he acting so guilty? Exactly.
Had called
that he's doing everything a guilty man would do, you know?
In meetings with
the only thing he hasn't done is just jump in the truck and just hit the highway and shit. You know what I'm saying?
Some of the Republicans who are backing that petition to force that vote, they did not take their names off the bill after those calls and meetings, Errol.
Yes. They did not take their name off the bill. So that means it's going to the floor. And I think that's what it's coming up. It's already been reported. I did see some reporting on that. It's going to the floor now. So they could have had a chance before Grijalva actually signed before she signed this intent, right, to have the vote on the floor. Before she signed it, they could have gotten some people's names off of it. And if a few people or one person said no, they would have had to wait. You see what I mean? But now all that's done, it's been solidified. So in 1 week from now, there's going to be a vote on it on the floor. And you're going to get to see who are the congressional pedophile protectors and pedophiles, and who are the people that's up for prosecuting pedophiles. We're about to find out in 1 week from now.
All right, Scott McFarlane, thank you. CBS News Chief White House correspondent Nancy Cordes joins us now live from the North Lawn with reaction from the president. Nancy, good morning. So Scott touched on it somewhat there, but overall, how has the president responded to all of this Epstein information being released as it relates to him?
He is not happy, Errol. He posted more than once online yesterday, lashing out at Democrats who he says are pushing.
He's not happy, y'all.
This
You don't say so. We ain't happy either. Goddamn. I mean, who has to talk? Who else in the world has to sit up here and watch their president be slowly dragged down and proven that he's a pedophile? Slowly. I mean, that, or possibly watching that. That's not a nice look. You know, day after day, exposing somebody piece by piece, you know, inch by inch, one piece of information by and they fighting it the whole goddamn time. That's all we've seen since day one of this presidency. And the guy is not doing a good job defending himself.
Epstein file situation because they are trying to distract from the pain that was caused by the shutdown. That despite the fact that the White House spent the day trying to convince a couple of key Republicans.
Do me a favor, click the like button, y'all. What does this fool say right here? This is crazy. Let me see. The Democrats are trying to bring up Jeffrey Epstein hoax again because why? They'll do anything all to deflect on how badly they've done on the shutdown. Hey, y'all, the Democrats are just being petty with all this Epstein shit. Did you know that? They just being petty. It's all about the shutdown. They feel so bad they need to talk about the Epstein files. Okay, the Democrats cost our country $1.5 trillion with their recent antics of viciously closing our country, while at the same time putting many at risk, and they should pay a fair price. There should be no deflections to Epstein or anything else. So what is he talking about? He's the only one doing the deflecting. There should be no deflections to Epstein or anything else, and any Republican involved should be focused only on opening up our country. So this is what he said before, and fixing the massive damage caused by Democrats. So this is his way of saying, don't do anything on the Epstein files, but trying to make it seem like he's doing something for the Epstein files, I guess. And again, responding, making statements, it can all turn around against you. It can all be used as evidence against you. All it needs is a couple of pieces to change, and then everything turns around on you. I mean, this right here looks like he damn well knows it's like he's purposely lying. This is what it looks like. I mean, it's a bad attempt at lying. This makes no sense. This is like a kid's brain, like trying to defend themselves from something that is so serious. He's talking about it like it's so petty.
Not to sign on to that discharge petition. They were unsuccessful, so the 218 signatures are now there to force a vote, which puts a lot of Republicans who didn't sign on in a tricky situation because on one hand, they have heard from their constituents over and over again that they want the Epstein files to be released. On the other hand, President Trump has made it clear that he doesn't. So what are they going to do? We asked Andy Harris, a Republican congressman from Maryland, about that on the Takeout yesterday. Take a listen to what he said.
Yeah, Patel is a straight up liar for sure.
I have no problems with things being released. What I do have a problem with is when you release something and you redact something purposefully to mislead people. And that's exactly what the Democrats did on oversight.
Right. So why didn't they just release all the shit then? So we back to square one again. So how come you just don't release it? You see, this is only a defensive posture that they've taken, that the administration has taken. It's only their fault that anyone could insinuate something that's not true, or cherry pick, or make something look like Trump is complicit when it's not, when it's someone else. It's only them that makes it look like that because they could just release all the information at once. I mean, obviously that's bullshit, right? So in any case, let's see who else has publicly made some comments about this. I mean, what is this? What's going on here? Here we go. I think they got a little deeper here. Let's see here.
I am the one able to take him down. Those are the words of Jeffrey Epstein.
You hear that?
Epstein talking about Donald Trump in a private email written in 2018.
I mean, there it is. I am the one who's able to take him down. And she said, when was this? When was this? Hold on.
I am the one able to take him down. Those are the words of Jeffrey Epstein talking about Donald Trump in a private email written in 2018.
2018. So again, leading up to him, this is his, what is he? This is 2018. So he ran for office. He became, so this is a year, something like that, after he, a little bit more than a year, right? Now Jeffrey Epstein died, I believe, 1 year after Trump took office, right? So January 20th, Trump took office. That's January 20th, the 17th, right? The election was in the 16th, if I'm correct, right? And a year after that, Epstein died. Yeah, I believe that's it. But let's hear this again. Let me see something. What did she say that was?
I am the one able to take him down. Those are the words of Jeffrey Epstein talking about Donald Trump in a private email written in 2018. The email is part of a trove of over 20,000 pages of documents released Wednesday by the House Oversight Committee, raising new questions about President Trump's ties to the deceased convicted sex offender. Earlier on Wednesday morning, Democrats on the committee preemptively released 3 emails from the files. In one email from 2019, Epstein wrote that Trump, quote, knew about the girls. In another email from 2011, Epstein described Trump as the, quote, dog that hasn't barked, noting that Trump had, quote, spent hours at my house with Virginia, a reference to the late Virginia Giuffre, who accused Epstein of grooming and sexually trafficking her beginning when she was 16 years old. The Democrats released a version of the email with Virginia's name redacted, but an unredacted version of the email was later released.
In a recently published memoir, Virginia Giuffre writes she feared she would, quote, die a sex slave at the hands of Jeffrey Epstein. But in the book, Giuffre does not allege wrongdoing by Trump. She worked at Trump's Mar-a-Lago before being recruited by Ghislaine Maxwell. In another email from 2015, Epstein asked a reporter at the New York Times, quote, would you like photos of Donald and girls in bikinis in my kitchen? We're joined now by Spencer Kuven, who represents several survivors of abuse by Jeffrey Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell. We have
Okay, so it was 2 years after, right? Or a year and a half after, something like that. August 2019, Trump took office on the 20th in 2017. So, right, this is like a year, a little under a year and a half after. So let's go on. What's the delay? Is there? Hold on. Oh, okay. I see. This is just this 2 seconds.
to ask you about in very small amount of time. Start off by responding to these emails that have been released. And now the latest news that the House is going to vote on releasing the whole trove of Epstein-Maxwell documents by next week. Not in December, as was previously thought. Did think Johnson get one of the Republican Congress members who are calling for the release. To flip?
Well,
do you think Johnson get one of the Republicans?
Never end up seeing this information. Also, remember that the most important thing that we want to see and that the general public should be shown isn't necessarily the documents. It's the videotapes and photographs that were taken into custody by the FBI at the.
All right. Sorry about that. There was a little glitch in the playback. Yes. Now you hear this part, right? So they have videotapes. They have photographs of a lot of people, right? No more. I mean, allegedly Trump, but also allegedly many more people. And in one of the emails they mentioned, in one of these recent emails, they mentioned what's the guy's name? Kavanaugh, Justice Kavanaugh. Like, seriously, there's I got to find that email real quick. Go ahead. I'm going to let this play.
Various different homes of Jeffrey Epstein. We're talking about his homes down in the Virgin Islands, here in Palm. Jeffrey should be shown isn't necessarily the documents. It's the videotapes and photographs that were taken into custody by the FBI at the various different homes of Jeffrey Epstein. We're talking about his homes down in the Virgin Islands, here in Palm Beach, where I'm at, as well as his home in Manhattan. That's the information that's going to speak.
Somebody said, look, Brian, what is this? BYNXington? This must be a troll. Talking about, who cares if Trump was hanging around hot women? Wow, you missed all the allegations, bro.
1,000 words. That's what the general public needs to see.
It's little girls. 13, 14.
Where are those videotapes? And does the Epstein estate have what many feel the government should have taken?
Click the like button, y'all. Do me a favor. Thank you.
Well, I believe the videotapes are in the custody of the FBI because, remember, he was arrested at Teterboro Airport, and he never had an opportunity to get back to his mansion post-arrest. And the FBI then executed a search warrant on his home in Manhattan. That is where we believe that a wealth of video evidence was maintained. In addition to that, they then executed a warrant in the Virgin Islands. We know that after his arrest here in Palm Beach, or actually I should say just before his arrest, he had a team of people that took hard drives away from the home here in Palm Beach and secreted them away. We always understood as attorneys back then in 2007, 2008, when I was representing these young victims, that they had likely taken that evidence off to the Virgin Islands to secure it. So they've got 500 gigabytes of information that needs to be released.
Wow.
Well, Spencer, you had already seen the emails that were released yesterday, including the one that disclosed that Trump spent hours with Virginia. They were under a protective order by a federal judge, which is why you couldn't disclose them. Now, if you could talk about when you first saw them, what most surprised you, and whether other lawyers or yourself have seen any of the photographic or video evidence that you say is so crucial.
Well, I can't talk about things that might be protected by, still protected by protective order. What I can tell you generally is that the emails were part of a litigation that occurred down in the Southern District of Florida. And when that disclosure occurred, remember that our advocacy as attorneys was on behalf of victims to try to upend or turn over the sweetheart deal that the U.S. government had executed with Jeffrey Epstein because they failed to keep the victims informed of that deal. I only learned of it on behalf of my clients because an informant told me that I needed to rush to court because this secret deal was about to be entered. So a lot of that information was turned over in that litigation. We weren't really focused on Trump at the time, so it wasn't the focus of our investigation or our litigation back then. We were just tangentially aware that they existed. Now that the focus is on this material, I can say that there is a lot more to come. And I can say that the FBI does have more information that needs to be released.
Well, the FBI has also interviewed, as you've said, over 40 girls, some just 14 years old. So where are those interviews?
Yes. So 40 girls, some of them 14 years old. And as you can see, so, you know, somebody put in the chat earlier, who cares if Trump was around hanging around hot women? No. We talking about girls, okay? You know, we talking about pedophile sex trafficking. I don't know if you ever heard the news, but that's what Epstein has been charged with. That's what Maxwell's been charged with, you know, like minors and young women. So, but I mean, some of the allegations from the minors, it's horrific because their age is 13 and 14. Like, seriously, like... And to see so many people just, I'm sorry, but if you forgetting, if you're not shocked or pissed off or disgusted by the fact that Trump would be messing with 13-year-olds, then you must be a pedophile yourself. Like, that's the only person that could not be disgusted by that. And this is what this shit is all about. It's always been about young minors being trafficked by Epstein and Trump's relationship to Epstein. So and Trump has been accused directly on videotape. Just, it's out there. We just watched it yesterday. A woman said that she was assaulted by Trump 4 times when she was 13, 14 years old. Like, seriously, at a Jeffrey Epstein party, at events that Jeffrey Epstein organized. You see, so my only thoughts is I'm curious, like, how many of these parties did Trump organize where they knew there would be minors there doing activities like that? I believe anything Epstein was into, Trump was into too. You see what I mean? Maybe not as prolific as Epstein, but enough, because, I mean, even right now, my thoughts are like this. If Kash Patel, Pam Bondi, and Trump have access to all those files, then what would make them not blackmail anybody else in those files also, or protect, depending on, you know, I mean, blackmail isn't, how far off is that from protect? You pay me some money, I keep your shit secret. I mean, what's up with that? You see what I mean? So
I has also interviewed, as you've said, over 40 girls, some just 14 years old. So where are those interviews? And is there any likelihood that the content of those interviews would be released?
Well, first and foremost, I would wish that the identities of those individual victims continue to be protected. Some of them, like a lot of my clients, nearly all of my clients, have remained anonymous even to this day, almost 20 years later. No one has the identities or names of my clients that I have kept confidential. So I would hope that that remains to be the case. But the contents of those interviews, in other words, what they said and who they were with and who they told police they had been with and been traded to at Epstein's mansion, we believe that that information should be made public, along with the videotapes and photographs that we believe the FBI has in their custody.
yeah, this shit is closing in on Trump. It's closing in on Trump. Yo, Bits, thanks for the free memberships, y'all. Take Bits up on that offer if you see those free memberships in the chat. Yo, because sooner or later I'm going to be doing a lot more private streams, you know, and just because of the nature of some of this stuff. But it's good to have that ability to do it. But check this out. I mean, what do you think? Do you think that this whole debacle with Epstein and Trump, that is coming to a culmination now? I mean, do you think it's going to come to a culmination like before Christmas, like more information coming out, more deafening information, damaging information on Trump regarding these files? Yeah, because look, if they have a vote on it, obviously, and it passes, first of all, and that's not the only information, you know, but the FBI files are a big portion of it, right? The biggest part, right? Now, how long do you think it would take the FBI to release it once this vote happens? The vote is happening in 10 days. Let me see. Can we pull that up? Let's see here.
Today, Republicans are pretty divided over a vote set for next week that would force the Justice Department to release all the case materials. Yesterday, we saw thousands of pages of Epstein emails released by the House Oversight Committee, emails between Epstein and some of the most powerful men in the world of politics and big business. President Trump is not one of those men, but Epstein does speak about him many, many times.
Yeah, I see that. Ghislaine, if Ghislaine is not out, she gonna snitch on his ass anyway. So the clock is ticking.
Convicted sex offender was closely tracking Trump's political rise, at times calling him crazy and suggesting he had dirt on his one-time friend. Now, Trump has not been accused of any criminal wrongdoing in connection with Epstein. The White House says it's all a hoax to distract from Trump's political successes. But it is something that Republicans will vote on, either for or against, next week. And a growing number of Republicans are signaling that their vote will be a yes.
I'm a Florida girl. I have 2 daughters. So I'm thinking.
Yo, there better not be one woman that votes against this. I mean, how can you be? This is something that I would think every woman has to stand on this. And this is what's so shameful about Pam Bondi and Caroline Leavitt. But check this out. It's almost as if, like, I would be curious to know, did they know, like, for example, Bondi, did she know more about Trump before Trump took his office this time around? Did she suspect Trump or did she not suspect Trump? Because if she suspected Trump already, having information from the previous Epstein thing, right? Come on, you got to put 2 and 2 together. I don't see how any police officer, any detective would not automatically suspect that Trump have something to do with this, right? But in any case, let's say she didn't and she found out now. It's deplorable that she would continue to defend it, but it's almost another thing I'm thinking is that that's so deceptive. The fact that Trump knew anyway, you see what I mean? Allegedly, Trump, if he's done all of this, then he knew when he was picking Pam Bondi that, let me pick a woman so she can defend me. Right? You see what I mean? Like, get these women out here in the front. And then he's got Caroline Leavitt doing the same thing. How much of this do you think was premeditated? I mean, seriously, when he picked these women, do you think he have some thought about this already? Like, if the Epstein files come out, these women will be defending me. They'll be my face. They'll be my voice. Do you think he's thinking that? Because I'm gonna tell you, I think that's what narcissism is. I think he did, like, that devious. You know what I mean? Way more deviant, way more, how can I say this? Narcissists think things that a normal person wouldn't think. The deviousness goes deep, in narcissism. Like, they really can craft up some shit where the average person wouldn't think, to go so far and elaborate with a lie. You see what I mean? Or to cover something up. And I think Trump picked them on purpose.
Thinking, I'm sure that the president has nothing to fear. Yeah. We do need to know.
That's like, I'm sure the president has nothing to fear. Like, okay, is that that's another set him up thing? Like, just to say that to try to appeal to his, to try to fake him out, I'm not saying you did it, but come on, let's release the files.
I have 2 daughters. So I'm thinking, I'm sure that the president has nothing to fear. Yeah. We do need to know. We do need to know everything about Epstein.
If this comes on the floor, I will vote for it. I want transparency. To me, it's the worst PR job I've seen anywhere. Initially, back in February or March, whatever it was, we have all the Epstein lists right here. We're going to release it. And then all of a sudden, there's nothing. It's sort of they shot themselves in the foot on this.
I'm going to vote for it if it comes up. Pam Bondi was supposed to come to the House and answer these questions. And look, I'm not on the Judiciary Committee, but I did want Pam Bondi to come and do some explaining.
That's very interesting. She's not coming to explain.
And I'm joined by a terrific group of reporters. And David Challing, I'm going to start with you. What is your read on where we are on the politics of this right now?
Well, I mean, I think broadly it's pretty clear that the president doesn't want this in the ether. Excuse me. But I think the politics of this has shifted over time. And I think that earlier in the spring and the summer, we saw a huge division inside the MAGA world over this. There was real anger because there was
Any MAGA supporters out there? Put a one in the chat if you're a MAGA supporter.
Delivered promise, a promise from Donald Trump, J.D. Vance, Pam Bondi, others that said this is going to come out. And there was real anger and frustration. What happened was it exploded as a story this summer. There was because there was a lack of a delivered promise, a promise from Donald Trump, J.D. Vance, Pam Bondi, others that said this is going to come out. And
they all said this is going to come out. And then they all did the exact opposite. I mean, what else can it be?
There was real anger and frustration. What happened was it exploded as a story this summer. The mainstream media and the Democrats glommed onto it. And all of a sudden, the division inside MAGA started to be a bit more muted because they saw that their political opponents were trying to use it for advantage. I still think it's that.
Somebody said you keep saying allegedly so you won't get sued. Yeah, because I mean, if I don't know something, then what's the point in saying it? But it's, I mean, you can be sued, by the way, for saying things that you can't prove, right? Now, but here's the thing. I think all the shit I'm telling you, I think. That's why I also use the word I think when I believe something, right? So if you don't think, I don't think this motherfucker is guilty as fuck, then you haven't been listening. If you don't think that I don't believe Trump hasn't been conspiring for decades, then you haven't been listening. You see what I mean? I definitely think Trump has done all of this shit. Whether it can be proven, we waiting to see. Release the files. But it looks to me like any detective would have to believe Trump has been sleeping with little girls, like straight up. Now, you may not be able to prove it in a court of law, but that doesn't mean he didn't do it. You see what I mean? Now, saying that he did it, you can only say allegedly. You know that what you believe is possible. You can't say you know he did it if you haven't, but I don't need to know because I believe that any reasonable person, any kind of person doing some kind of detective work, halfway good at any detective work, would have to believe that Trump basically has done this and is covering it up. I mean, everything, all roads leads to Trump. All the emails suggest that Jeffrey Epstein was blackmailing Trump. And all the emails pretty much suggest, in my view, that Jeffrey Epstein had it out for Trump. Jeffrey Epstein was in contact pretty much, I mean, with people inside of Trump's first administration, his election, whoever was working on his election, and the people that took office with him. He had straight direct contact, right? Now, but at the same time, when Trump was running for president that time, the first time around, right? And when he took office, he was already talking to Michael Wolff, spilling the beans. I don't know if you heard this, but if you listen to Michael Wolff, right? Michael Wolff, according to what he says he has recordings with Jeffrey Epstein where he was interviewing Jeffrey Epstein, and Jeffrey Epstein came out and said, here are some pictures of Trump with little girls. Take a look. You see what I mean? And he's recorded it, right? So, I mean, I don't see how anyone would think that he hasn't been sleeping with little girls. You see what I'm saying? Then you have also, what did we play? We played yesterday. We had, who was it? Katie Johnson's testimony where she says, let me see here, where she says that Trump, so it's not, I mean, I can allege it, but that's not the problem. You know, the problem is that I could allege it all I want. He looks fucking guilty. It's not the problem is not me saying allege, because the problem is this shit that people say about him. Like, look, I mean, you don't think that's a problem? You don't think that's a problem? Like how someone could say something like that, Katie Johnson? Like you don't think it's problematic for this to be out there for
I
Trump?
came to this interview on my free will. No, there was nothing promised to me for doing this interview.
Excellent.
Yes, everything that I say at this interview will be the truth. I met Donald Trump at some parties I attend that I was working for Mr. Jeffrey Epstein. There was about 3 or 4 times that I had encounters with Donald Trump. I was 13.
Did you hear her? She said there was 3 or 4 times she had encounters with Donald Trump. How old was she?
Mr. Jeffrey Epstein. There was about 3 or 4 times that I had encounters with Donald Trump.
3 or 4 times she had encounters with Donald Trump.
I was 13.
She was 13. 3 or 4 times when she had encounters with Donald Trump, according to her. So I'm not alleging that she said it. She said it. She's the one alleging it. But that's damning. It doesn't matter if you can prove it or not. That's damning. In light of the fact that you have all types of other corroborating evidence from Jeffrey Epstein. Jeffrey Epstein is saying pretty much in coded language, Trump likes him young. Right? So this is pretty bad. This is pretty bad. The new release of emails describe Trump to be like an animal out of control pretty much when it comes to little girls. You see what I mean? One email describes Trump as being so excited when he was at Epstein's house, I believe, or Epstein's his Florida mansion, that he was looking outside at the girls in the pool, and he was so excited when he went to walk out, he didn't even notice that the glass door was shut. Like that kind of that type of connection to it. You see what I mean? So you can have a problem with me saying alleged all I want, but I'm just trying to be accurate. You know, I mean, I don't have to prove he did it because this shit is damning. People look at this information and already assume he's fucking guilty. I mean, because it's bad. This is bad. This does not look good. This looks horrible.
Arizona Democratic Congresswoman Yasmin Ansari, member of the House Oversight Committee. First, I want to get your take on the president getting personally involved here, trying to use some pressure on your Republican colleagues to change their vote, going so far as to bring one of them into the Situation Room.
Right. So this is what Trump tried to do. I mean, does this look good to you? Does it look like Trump wants them signing this release? I mean, I don't know. Why is he acting guilty? You know, yeah. And this ain't alleged. He really called it to the Situation Room.
First of all, thank you so much for having me. I think the president's personal involvement in trying to pressure and threaten Republican members of Congress to remove themselves from the discharge petition yesterday should really raise the question with Americans across the country as to why this.
You heard it yourself. According to this woman, she thinks it should raise the question to Americans. That means folks in the chat too, folks listening, of why. Why would Trump do that? Why do you think he would do that? You tell me.
First of all, thank you so much for having me. I think the president's personal involvement in trying to pressure and threaten Republican members of Congress to remove themselves from the discharge petition yesterday should really raise the question with Americans across the country as to why this is a cover-up. I have been very clear from the beginning. Oversight Democrats have been very clear. If the president is innocent in all of this, and if his allies and people in very high up positions in the White House and the administration have nothing to hide, then they could release the entirety of the Epstein files today. But the fact that they have not done so and they have not complied with the Oversight Committee's subpoena to release the files, and the fact that Donald Trump himself, instead of focusing on the real issues that Americans across this country are facing, such as affordability and the healthcare crisis, is dedicating his personal time and personal capital to threaten Republican members of Congress, says it all.
That is crazy. All over these files. So, I mean, come on. What is going on here? What else could anyone think? You know, Trump's not giving people the possibility to think anything else because he's reacting like this. It's his own moves that are moves you can only imagine, or most people, I mean, certainly me, I imagine that these are the moves a guilty man would make. You know, I mean, does a guilty man act? Does an innocent man act like that? Is he calling meetings about stopping people from signing the release, agreement so we can get the file? Is that what an innocent man does? Try to keep the information covered up from being released? Is that what I mean? And he's doing a lot of personal effort in that too. That's like, it's not even done through a lawyer. He's like, yeah, I had the fucking meeting. Come to the Situation Room, y'all. What the hell?
This bill, well, we'll see where it goes. I wonder if you're having conversations or at least hearing stuff from the Senate side. If it gets through the House, first of all, let me ask you what your level of confidence is about that. But what are you hearing about the Senate side of things?
I think that if Mike Johnson follows through with what he said, which I have to have a level of skepticism about, just given how he's operated over the course of the last 4 or 5 months, how he shut down Congress early, I think that having every single Republican on the record potentially next week, we are going to definitely pass this through the House of Representatives. I think enough Republicans will recognize that they absolutely cannot be on the side of protecting pedophiles. And then that's a great question. I do feel, somewhat confident that this.
I mean, look, somebody said Obama and Biden aren't on the list. Yeah, exactly. They're not on the list. Somebody's messing around saying that. Well, here's the thing. One thing we know for sure is Obama and who else? Who else did they say? Obama and Biden are not publicly asking people to not sign the disposition. They're not having meetings and shit, Situation Room meeting. Yo, this is what I want you to do. Don't release it. Don't sign the disposition paper. Please don't sign the release. They're not asking nobody to not release it. So, I mean,
this could get through the Senate. I think the American public has been demanding accountability and transparency for the victims. The fact that we've seen
you maggots are fucked. You maggots voted for this guy. You maggots went out of power. You invaded the Capitol for a dude like this that they're describing. This is the person you invaded the Capitol for. Like, these people literally went this far for a creep like this. Your judgment is real. I mean, what's going on in your brain? Yo, invading the Capitol, I might be able to get behind it if it was for the right person. Yo, but this is for a person that's been alleged to be a pedophile. Like, damn, have you got it wrong? Like, is this the person 34-time felon, invade the Capitol, cheats on taxes, invade the Capitol, Mein Führer, my leader. You know what I'm saying? Allegedly, can't keep his hands off little girls. That's who I'm going to invade the Capitol for. Like, you all, man, y'all fucked up your your last 20 years has been a total, utter waste if you spend it capping for Trump.
Survivors who have never
like, you need to make better decisions.
Out before, come to Capitol Hill, have press conferences outside the Capitol, share their stories for the very first time. Republican senators will not be able to deny that, and will.
Can you imagine capping, spending the last 20 years capping for a damn pedophile? How fucked up that must feel. Like, damn, that's like you're weird. Where do you get your information from? Like, what are you thinking?
have a very difficult time. The real question will be, though, is what Donald Trump and the White House decide to do. And when on that issue, I am very, very skeptical, because we have seen that the Department of Justice under Pam Bondi, Kash Patel, every senior level administration official, Caroline Leavitt, et cetera, are in full-on denial mode. They're calling this a Democratic hoax. They have completely flipped the script and changed their tune 180 degrees since the beginning of the year, because
calling it a Democratic hoax, like, who in their right mind, who is there anyone that believes that at this point? Like, that is saying that is almost saying I'm guilty. Fuck it. I'm guilty. This is all I got to say. It's a Democrat hoax. I have nothing else that will work. let me throw the damn Hail Mary. It's a Democrat hoax. Like, damn, what? This is embarrassing. This is embarrassing. From the top of the government, these people are pathetic. They are pathetic.
Know that Donald Trump is in the files. To what extent, that remains to be seen. But the emails that we received from the Epstein estate make it very clear that Jeffrey Epstein and Donald Trump were incredibly close. These emails span 15 years. The fact that Jeffrey Epstein, one of the most evil monsters that the world has ever seen, sent an email saying that he doesn't think Donald Trump has a good bone in his bone.
Somebody wrote in the chat, Donald told Nancy to call the National Guard to defend the Capitol. Sorry, that lie's been exposed too. Nancy Pelosi cannot order the National Guard to do anything. It's only the president that can do that. Nancy cannot. Okay? And anyway.
Body essentially is damning.
This disinformation, trolling shit, Russian farms, Chinese farms, or whatever, it's not going to work in the upcoming elections. People are figuring the shit out.
To me,
they figured out they had MAGA got by you, but it ain't going to happen here.
And spent time with the victims and the survivors. And so it's really up to the White House. They could end this today. They could release the full files today. That's what we've been demanding, and that's what they've outright denied doing.
There's another big story, obviously, developing where you are. The president did sign the bill to reopen the government last night after 43 days. But as you well know, the battle over health care is far from over. So I want to play part of what the president said last night.
Oh, yeah. He just said, it's a Democrat hoax. It's a Democrat hoax. It's a Democrat hoax. Anyway, it's always about a hoax, Hold on. Let's see here. What's going on? Oh, okay. Do I need to segue over? Okay, yeah. Let me see. This is not the right one. Hold on. I think I need to go to the next one. Let me see. Yeah. If you think it's a Democrat hoax, great. You do that. It's not a really impressive excuse, however. I mean, I'm really wondering how somebody could even want to be known for saying something like that. That's like looking really, really bad also to suggest something like that. It's just a Democrat hoax. Just a Democrat hoax. Now, let me see here. This is not a hoax. Let me see here. Christopher Steele. Let me go. Where is this at? Is this right here? Can y'all see this? Right. Let me go over to this. Boom, boom, boom. 2 seconds. There's an article. There's two articles. Both of them are about Russians now. Let me see. Where is this at? 2 seconds. Can y'all see this? Is this big enough? Let me make the text a little bigger too. Come on. Here we go. All right. So let's see here. Epstein emails reveal Jeffrey Epstein and associates discuss girls and travel. Revelation comes despite U.S. Justice Department downplaying possibility that there are other men involved in the Epstein abuse. That's right. They did that too, which makes no goddamn sense. I mean, anyway, but if that's what they want to say, while Donald Trump's Justice Department has downplayed the possibility that other men were involved in Jeffrey Epstein's abuse of teen girls. Again, I say teen girls. I'm not saying women, not saying hot ladies, teen girls. That's what's being said here, okay? An email released on November 12th as part of the House Oversight Committee Epstein investigation shows an exchange between the late financer and the associate where they discuss girls and travel. Epstein sent an email asking, "What is your schedule?" on the 23rd, July 20th, July 2010 to an associate. The latter responded the next morning. The associate responded the next morning. The other girl name redacted, right? Okay, so that's a question. The Guardian is withholding the associate's name as attempts to identify and contact him were unsuccessful. All right. That afternoon, the associate also wrote, "Can you call me? I am with the Tigran." What? I'm with Tigran. He would like to meet you. He is here with me in Ibiza with 8 top girls, he said. He would like to build something with you. Can you come to Ibiza? We have a huge house. Or how can we organize this? Damn. This is trafficking. Okay. So, how can we organize this meeting? Even Jean-Luc could do a great biz also. He has the most amazing top models on standby. I told him not to do anything deals with anybody before he met with you. Wow. Damn, that's deep. And that dude is known to be prolific also. And then they like, nah, but you number one, you come before him and shit. Like, wow. He stopped working with IMG and Trump. We are here. Please call me and let me know. What is your plans? Warmest regards. The associate wrote, apparently referring to Jean-Luc Brunel, a French modeling agent and a friend of Epstein's. Okay. Epstein wrote, "I will be in Paris tomorrow night," in the chain. He's like, I'll be there. Several hours after the email mentioning 8 top girls, the associate wrote, "Can you come to Ibiza, or can you send us the ticket to come with Tigrani and 5 girls to Paris because they have their return tickets from Barcelona. If they are living from here, it will." Does that say if they are living? Yeah. Is that a typo? It looks like it should have said if they are leaving from here, but it doesn't. If they are living from here. Okay. Damn, that's weird. In any case, from here, it would be great if you can arrange for us tickets for Paris. Please let me know so we can get organized. Oh, damn, that's the key word, organized. So we can get trafficked. All right. Authorities arrested Brunel, and he mysteriously died too. They say of suicide. He hung himself. That's very, very interesting too. That's another interesting fact that stands out on that. Both of these men ended up dead by alleged suicides, although Epstein's brother does not believe him at all, and neither do I. I think it was murder. All right. Brunel, who was suspected of providing teenage girls to Epstein, was found dead in prison in February 2022 of an apparent suicide, right? Sounds very similar to Jeffrey Epstein's story. The email exchange occurred almost exactly a year after Epstein was released from a Florida jail, where he served a brief sentence for solicitation of prostitution and solicitation of prostitution involving a minor. Okay, minors again. Nothing in these emails suggests that Trump was present or a participant in the subject of their discussion. All right, and those mails, that's those, right? But Jeffrey Epstein has had other discussions and other mails where he's literally implying Trump is down with it. So we already went through those mails. So I guess they're talking about the first 3 mails, right? Those weren't so scandalous, but now there's more mails. So Trump has been saddled by ties to Epstein for months, right? Okay, now let me see what else is there. Let me see here. They say there's no wrongdoing. They have to say that so they don't get sued. There was also no credible evidence found of Epstein blackmail, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, they did say that too. That's damn, I definitely don't believe that. There's, again, nobody has all these cameras, traffics all those girls just for the fun of it. You know what I mean? So, of course, there's obviously going to be, or it's easily understandable if there was blackmail and espionage. I'll put it to you that way. The memo flew in the face of Epstein's accusers, who have said, oh yeah, exactly, from the FBI, that memo was bullshit. Said others participated in the abuse. Trump political allies and supporters, many of whom believe Epstein colluded with high-profile individuals to traffic teen girls, were incensed, given that the president had promised to release the files. Yeah, and they flip-flopped. So, let me see here. 20 pages of the documents released by Oversight Committee. Okay, that's that. Everyone went through that. Summers said, will Trump crack into insanity? Okay. Let me see here. These... Okay, look, there's a lot of typos in this. Y'all can see it for yourselves. Look, emailed Trump's air travel in relation to his own transportation. He also appeared, kept Epstein of Trump's. About Trump's air travel in relation to his own transportation. He also appears to consume news about the president's political challenges. Okay, now these messages also, that's where the typo is. Y'all can see it right here. It says something else. Now, these messages also showed Epstein speaking ill of Trump. Epstein wrote to former Treasury Secretary Larry Summers in December 2018 that Trump borderline insane, Dersh, a few feet further from the border, but not by much. An apparent reference to his one-time attorney, Alan Dershowitz. Okay, Dersh, a few feet further from the border, but not. Okay, damn, that's interesting. Summers said, will Trump crack into insanity? Okay, question mark. This is not a new phenomenon for him. In the past, he was told not to come out of his apartment. That's how he got through near personal bankruptcy. His strength is remarkable. Okay, is that his strength is remarkable? Okay, he is pounded 24/7. Epstein said, I hope someone close to him gets indicted, but not sure. Otherwise, the pressure of the unknown will force him to do crazy things. They're talking about Trump here. Yep. Yeah, so they're dissing Trump in this email. Asked for comment on Wednesday, the White House spokesperson Abigail Jackson told The Guardian these emails prove literally nothing. Well, she's definitely a MAGA troll. So, hey, trolls out there, you need to write that in your little computer. These emails prove nothing, and just repeat it 1,000,000 times. Earlier that day, the White House press secretary Caroline Leavitt said Democrats had selectively leaked the emails, the liberal media, to create a fake narrative to smear President Trump, as if she can really verify anything. I mean, was she there? Caroline, were you there? Were you there with Trump? How do you know? Were you there with Epstein? Why are you so sure? Leavitt also said that the unnamed victim mentioned in these emails was Virginia Giuffre, whom she remarked repeatedly said President Trump was not involved in any wrongdoing whatsoever. Trump kicked Epstein out of his club decades after for being a creep to his female employees, including Giuffre. Leavitt said These stories are nothing more than a bad faith effort to distract from President Trump's historic accomplishments, like all-time low in prices, all-time low inflation. What else is there? What else did Trump do? And any American with common sense sees right through this hoax, and clear distraction from the government opening back up. Asked for comment about the exchange that mentioned girls, Jackson, the White House spokesman, said, "These emails prove literally nothing. Liberal outlets are desperately trying to use this Democrat distraction to talk about anything other than the Democrats getting utterly defeated by President Trump in the shutdown fight." Yeah, I mean, they're just all about narrative, obviously, the White House. Now, let's see. There's something else out here about these Russians. Let me just get that up here real quick. Come on, Russians. Oh, wait a second. I think this is the White House files. Yeah, not that one. We don't want that. I mean, the congressional files. No, we don't want those. Let's see here. What else? Come on. All right, these are the emails we reviewed. We don't need those. Let's go on. We already read those, so let's see what else. I'm trying to get straight to the Russian one. But for those of you that didn't hear Katie Johnson's her actual deposition, I encourage you to hear it, to listen to it. Let me see something. Oh, wow. Here we go. Here we go. Now, can you all see this? I don't think I can make this bigger. Can I make that bigger? All right. Hopefully y'all can see this. It says here, let me just pull this a little. Okay. This email is from who? Let me open it up a little wider. Okay, here we go. Pull it back up some. Is this the email? Okay, that's the one about the dog. Then where's the next one? Okay, here we go. Now it says, "I think you should let him hang himself." This is Michael Wolff to Jeffrey Epstein in 2015. Right? I think you should let him. Right. So this is Michael Wolff saying this. "I think you should let him hang himself," as he says he hasn't been on the plane, hasn't been on the plane or to the house. Then that gives you a valuable PR and political currency. You can hang him on it. So that lie, this is interesting because these are things that Trump said publicly after all of this, after this email was written. You can hang him in this way that potentially generates a positive benefit for you. He's talking to Jeffrey Epstein. Or if it really looks like he could win, right? Okay, see, this is so they're literally setting his ass up while he's running for office, right? Again, this is 2015. So they had this already there. And this is so amazing because Trump, after he was forced to talk about this shit publicly, he actually said these things that they're suggesting. Okay, you can hang them on it in a way that potentially generates a positive benefit for you. If it really looks like he could win, you could save him generating a debt. Of course, yep, that's crazy. Of course, by not saying anything, right? Of course, it is possible that when asked, he'll say Jeffrey is a great guy and has gotten a raw deal and is a victim of a political correctness, which is to be outlawed in the Trump regime. And this is damn near what Trump said. That's what's crazy about it. He says something to this effect, similar, very similar, if not very similar. Okay, so then this is Jeffrey writing back. If we're able to craft an answer for him, what do you think it should be? This is crazy. This is crazy. This is insane. They're like literally plotting. And what's ridiculous is that it looks like Trump did these things that they suggested. Look, okay, if we were able to craft an answer, what do you think it should be? Okay, and so Michael Wolff writes back, and then they block it out. Why is that? That's interesting. They don't want his. I guess they don't want his email being used. That's interesting. I see CNN planning to ask Trump tonight about his relationship with you, either on the air or in Scrum afterwards. What does that mean, Scrum? I don't know what the hell that means. Okay, anybody know what Scrum means? Because I sure enough don't. Now, all right, so that is very, very interesting. I think that email is one of the most interesting because what is this? Right, because Trump actually said these things and or things similar to that. And this is exactly when Trump was running for office and they first started asking him about Jeffrey Epstein. I mean, that kind of proves the authenticity of their relationship with Trump. You see? So, and that Trump is engaged with Epstein at that time, engaged in a manner of they're cooperating. They're making deals together at that time in 2015. And that is after he was already convicted. So that kind of shows you that Trump didn't tell the truth. Trump said he broke up with Jeffrey Epstein in Mar-a-Lago. Let me see something. Hold on 2 seconds. Let me see something. What year was that? That would have been, that's 2015. These emails are going on. What year did Trump say he broke off his friendship with Epstein? Let me see. That's 2004. So this is a long fucking time after. This is a very long time after, y'all. This is a very long time after. This is almost 10 years later. This is almost 10 years later. I think you should let him hang himself. If he says he hasn't been on the plane or to the house, then that gives you a valuable PR and political currency. You can hang him in a way that potentially generates a positive benefit for you. Or if it really looks like he could win, you could save him generating a debt. Of course, it is possible that when asked, he'll say Jeffrey is a great guy and has gotten a raw deal and is a victim of political correctness, which is outlawed in the Trump regime. Okay. Then Jeffrey writes, let me see here. On Tuesday, December 15th at 11:52 p.m., Jeffrey E. wrote, right, if we were able to craft an answer for him, what do you think it should be? See? So that right there says that he's directly in communication with Trump. This is a relationship at that time. Straight up. And this is much later. This is 2015. 2004, Trump said that he ended his friendship. Yes. Yep. That's really, really weird. That's really, really weird. Now, let me see something here. Trump says he ended friendship with Epstein because he... Let me open that up just so we have a little, people can see. I'm sure most of y'all know this already, but let me just check here just for the people that don't. I can make this text a little bigger. Okay, so President said Monday that he ended his friendship with Jeffrey Epstein and threw the now disgraced financier out of his private club in Florida after Epstein betrayed him more than once by hiring people who had worked for him. Trump did not say what his employees did or where they worked. The White House declined further comment. But the White House has previously offered a different explanation for the falling out. Stephen Chung, the White House communications director, said in a statement last week, the fact is that the president kicked him out of the club for being a creep. Epstein killed. So he kicked him out of the club for being a creep, but they're still collaborating. Goddamn, at this time. Like, they're still collaborating at this time. This shit is crazy. I mean, this is very, very damning. This is very, very damning. And the reason why it's damning is because the explanation that Trump gave later, he literally said these kind of things that they're suggesting. If I were able to craft an answer for him, what do you think it should be? I hear CNN planning to ask Trump tonight about the relationship with you, either on air or in a scrum afterwards. Okay, so let me see one thing. I'm going to see if I can find a Trump statement on air. And that would be in 2015. Did Trump comment about Epstein's relationship? Let me see here. I'm sure they did, but let me try to find the video. I know Jeff. Yes, he did. Look at this. Damn. In 2015, an interview with journalist Michael Wolff, Trump said, "I know Jeff. I know him like everybody in Palm Beach knows him. I know Ghislaine too. I think they were very good friends." Does that sound like the crafted statement? What date was this? Hold on. What was the exact date of that statement? Let me see here. Okay. So it couldn't find the exact date, but the date is out there. I'm going to have to get it to search again. Okay, let me see here. 2015, during an interview with Michael Wolff, Trump said that stuff. Can you find me the interview? Wasn't this public? Okay. What? Oh, there it is. Yes. Dig it up. It's archive video. That's what that is. Okay. So let's see here. It's coming. That's exactly what I wanted to see anyway. Maybe I should have just searched for that anyway. Okay, I couldn't find what? Okay. Can you find a video statement Trump made about Epstein in 2015? Let me just see here. That's interesting though, but in any case, That's weird. What is this all about? Okay, you know what I'm going to do? With the quotes. Okay, I'm just going to go to articles with the quotes. I just want to see that. Try to verify the date. Okay, Trump said something about Epstein. Well, I knew him. Like everybody in Palm Beach knew him. I don't think I've spoken to him in 15 years. Right. So Trump says that. He says that in 2015. So Trump, I mean, this is crazy. This is crazy. So numerous people have him saying this in 2015. Numerous news outlets. So it basically is true, right? Or you know why you know it's not true? Because Trump will be suing their ass. All right, let's see here. Where was the quote at? Well, I knew him. Yeah, here we go. Well, I knew him like everybody in Palm Beach knew him. Trump told reporters in the Oval Office. I mean, people in Palm Beach knew him. He was a fixture in Palm Beach. I had a falling out with him a long time ago. I don't think I've spoken to him in 15 years. I wasn't a fan of his. I wasn't a fan. I was not, a long time ago. I'd say maybe 15 years. I was not a fan of his. That I can tell you. I was not a fan of his. But then he says in another one in the same year that they're good people. Right? That's weird. Let me see something here. That is weird. So they have him making two different statements in 2015. Whoa. Let's see here. What Trump has said about Jeffrey Epstein. Yeah, let's go to that one. This is Rolling Stone. All right. So that's Rolling Stone. Let's check that out real quick, too. Since they have a timeline. Let me make the text a little bigger. Right. Here we go. I hope y'all can see this also. Let's see here. What? Come on, man. Don't make me sign up for no. Okay, here, man. Come on. What is this? Do I have to sign up for this? Let's just do it. Come on. Do I want to subscribe? No, I don't want to subscribe, man. All right. Here we go. Trump's spoken plenty. Let's close that down also. Okay, let's see here. Trump has spoken plenty about Epstein to both lauding and disgraced financier. Let's see here. Come on. It's still loading? What the heck? Okay, Trump appeared to be close to Epstein. At least some point they have been photographed together. Okay. Video shows a pair partying. Right. Okay. Epstein reportedly said in 2017 that he was Trump's closest friend. Right. We know that. But let's get to the statements. Trump says in 2002, Epstein is a terrific guy who loves young, beautiful women. Right. And, okay. And then later it says Trump famously lauded Epstein and remarked on his penchant for young women in a New York magazine piece in 2002. Okay, so that was 2002. I've known Jeff for 15 years. Terrific guy. Trump said he's a lot of fun to be with. It is even said that he likes beautiful women, and much as I do, and many of them are on the younger side. That almost sounds like he's saying I like younger women too. I don't doubt it. Jeffrey Epstein enjoys his social life. Trump does talk funny like that. Okay, Trump has trashed Epstein in recent years. Okay, but Trump says he's not a fan of Epstein. So this is a reporter asked Trump if he had a falling out with Epstein. And And if he had banned him from Mar-a-Lago during the press conference, yeah, I did. Okay, so that he talked about a falling out, but we can see that there's earlier comments, so they don't have that same comment here. That's interesting. They don't have the other 2015 comment where he said they're nice people. So Trump has made conflicting statements, but they changed in time. But this one about 2015, okay, let me just go back to this now. That's the one I'm looking for, and I don't really see, where did they publish that at? Let me go back up. Here it is. This is the quote in 2015 during an interview with journalist. So this is the video. This is what he said on video in 2015. I know Jeff. I know him like everybody in Palm Beach knows him. I know Ghislaine too. I think they were very good friends. So yeah, but in any case, not to use too much time on that, but that looks like this contradicts this. You know, they were very good friends. That's 2015. And then in 2015, around the same time that he's making that comment, Jeffrey Epstein is writing with Michael Wolff this shit. If we were able to craft an answer for him, what do you think it should be? I hear CNN is planning to ask Trump tonight what his relationship with you either in. Okay. I think you should let him hang himself. If he says he hasn't been on the plane or to your house, then that gives you a valuable PR and political currency. You can hang him in a way that potentially generates a positive. Now, keep this in mind. Trump never denied hanging out with Jeffrey Epstein. All he said was that he hasn't been to Epstein Island, right? I don't believe Trump ever said he hadn't been to his house. I don't think that's the case. Did he say that? Let me see. Let me go back to this. But in any case, you can hang him in a way that potentially generates positive benefit for you. This is 2015. Or if it really looks like he could win, right? You could save him, generating a debt. Of course, it is possible that when asked, he'll say Jeffrey is a great guy and has gotten a raw deal. Okay. He doesn't say that. I don't see him saying that, but I know one thing for sure. They're saying that he said this. I know Jeff. I know him like everybody in Palm Beach knows him. I know Ghislaine too. I think they're very good friends. So Trump is a slick little manipulator in a way, because that comment can be perceived in a lot of different ways. So in any case, let me go on and try to find this Russian story. Is it here? Russian story. Let's see here. Boom. Epstein emails say Trump knew about the girls. Right. He knew about the girls. These are different email. I mean, this is another email. Epstein sex trafficking 2000 in one of the 2019 emails to Wolf Epstein, a convicted. So you could see this is going on. That one was 2015. This is 2019. Email to Wolf Epstein, a convicted sex offender, wrote that Trump knew about the girls, though it was not clear what that phrase meant. Okay. In another 2019 email, Epstein said Trump came to my house many times and never got a massage. That email was part of a trove of documents released later on Wednesday by the Republican-led committee. Trump has vehemently, and consistently denied knowing about Epstein's sex trafficking. He has said that he and Epstein, who died by suicide in a Manhattan jail, allegedly, were once friends before having a falling out. The Epstein case says, okay, so they say this. Now, let me see. Democrats are trying to bring him badly. Are there any more quotes here? Okay, so let's go to the next one. The Russian one is coming up. That's the one I wanted to really catch. But, damn, I see I have so many of these here. They got it's a lot of separate articles quoting different emails. So let's see here. Okay. Thousands of files. Trump campaign made Epstein files. All right, he did. They didn't release them, though. Okay. 2015 lawsuit details. A slew of documents were released in January 2024 connected to the 2015 lawsuit against Ghislaine Maxwell, convicted sex offender and former girlfriend of Epstein. The documents mention high-profile friends of Epstein and victims who spoke out. Hundreds of documents. The Department of Justice released more than 100 pages of documents related to Epstein in February 25, right? That was earlier this year. We all know that now. Documents included flight logs, redacted content book. Yeah. At the time, Attorney General Pam Bondi called on FBI Director Kash Patel to investigate why all documents hadn't been released. Yeah, they had big stories. They actually complained and said it was the Biden administration that was taking too long to turn them over. Okay. And now they just said, fuck it. That lie didn't work, so we ain't releasing them at all. The FBI DOJ memo, the Justice Department and FBI concluded in the memo that there was no evidence. Yeah, we heard that. Footage of Epstein prison cell. Okay. Wall Street Journal exclusive birthday letter. Yeah, that came out. Maxwell recording transcripts. Yeah, that also came out. Testimonies from Kash Patel, Alex Acosta, and Pam Bondi. Alex Acosta was a total. He don't remember nothing. Acosta, who oversaw a 2008 plea deal with Epstein, testified for multiple hours before the House Oversight Committee. Okay. Yeah, we remember that. Letters from. Now let me see. Forget that. Let's just get over to the next one. That's just a summary of that timeline. Let's see here. I think it's here coming up. Here we go. Come on. Right. Jeffrey Epstein called Donald Trump borderline insane and questioned if he had early dementia in emails before death. Look, let me just make this bigger. This is just, there's a lot of fucked up shit that the guy was saying about Trump. And then he ends up dead. Like straight up. I mean, this is what it is. This is crazy, man. Okay, called Donald Trump borderline insane and questioned if he had early dementia in emails before death. Epstein, who died in 2019. Okay, blah, blah, blah. Need to know. On a Wednesday, November 12th, they released it. Right, document. Okay. Now let's get here. A trove of Jeffrey Epstein documents released in the House Oversight Committee on Wednesday, November 12th. That's yesterday. Republicans on the committee. Okay, blah, blah, blah. We already got that. Democrats whine about releasing. Okay, la, la, la. Wow, these... Come on. Is this not loading or what? Okay, here we go. Oftentimes, Epstein, who was once friends with Trump, spoke negatively on him, questioning his cognitive abilities and even referring to him as borderline insane. The documents examined by CNN point to a picture of where the men stood as Trump's political career began to take off. Okay. 2015, again, Epstein allegedly told a reporter for the New York Times that he had photos of Donald and girls in bikinis in my kitchen. He also alleged to journalists that in 1993 he gave a 20-year-old girlfriend that he dated for 2 years to Trump. Okay, that's okay. Trump, okay, he dated her from 2 years from 18. Trump turned 49 in June 1995 when Epstein alleged that he was dating the then 22-year-old woman. Okay. Shortly after Trump was inaugurated in January 2017, another email exchange between Epstein and a reporter for the New York Times mentioned Trump. The exchange was in relation to the president's controversial Muslim ban. Okay, it helps as he is seen to be keeping his word. An important seek with Putin in North Korea. As you noticed, North Korea had not fired their blah, blah, blah. Okay, this is, I remember him saying that. That would be said that Donald Trump is crazy. Okay, now, former President Barack Obama never was able to effectuate that he wrote. Okay, that being said, Donald is effing crazy. I told you that, he continued. The following year, Epstein questioned if Trump was displaying signs of early dementia while referencing a snippet of Michael Wolff's book, Fire and Fury, inside of Trump's White House. Okay, the email exchanged, a reporter for the New York Times said to Epstein that the president was sounding increasingly unhinged. And Epstein replied, "No question, Donald's statement is goofy, early dementia." Okay. On March 24, 2018, Epstein discussed a Daily Beast article that questioned if Trump was headed toward a psychiatric breakdown with a former White House counsel for Obama, Catherine Rumler, when Rumler referred to the article as not confidence inspiring. Epstein wrote back, but accurate. Okay. A few months later, on August 23rd, Epstein allegedly emailed Rumler in regards to Trump's hush money payment and Stormy Daniels. Yeah, y'all forgot about that? Nope, that was a crime, really. That's not legal. You see, I know how many dirty Donald... Damn! You see, I know how dirty Donald is, Epstein alleged in an exchange, okay? Now, he later insulted Trump in a December 22, 2008 email to former Treasury Secretary Summers, writing Trump borderline insane. Okay, CNN noted that it wasn't clear what sparked the insult. That same month, he referred to Trump as borderline insane a second time in an exchange. Okay, so this is numerous times he's doing that with attorney Reed, this time attorney Reed Weingarten. This time, Epstein alleged that his statement was corroborated by some that are close. Okay, okay, here we go. The initial emails released by Democrats on the House Oversight Committee, Epstein, a convicted sex offender who was also accused of sex trafficking, alleged that Trump knew about the girls. Okay, the email sent to journalist and author Michael Wolff on January 31st, 2019, seemingly addressed the allegation that Epstein was kicked out of Trump's Palm Beach, Florida clubhouse in Mar-a-Lago. Trump said he asked me to resign. Never a member ever. Of course. So he's saying, nah, Trump never did. Of course, he knew about the girls as he asked Ghislaine to stop. He wrote, yeah, okay. So we covered that earlier. He did. Right. And I mean, this is what's in these emails. On November 12th, the White House addressed the original 3 emails with a statement from the press secretary, Caroline Leavitt, Caroline Lyon. And she says she accused House Democrats of pushing a hoax to distract from Trump's historic accomplishments. Yeah, what the fuck are you talking about? Historic accomplishments. All right, whatever. Man, this lady is just supreme gaslighter. And you know what? She gonna get something. She gonna get hers. Watch. The unnamed victim referenced in these emails is the late Virginia Giuffre, who repeatedly said President Trump was not involved. Okay, and in any wrongdoing whatsoever. That's a very funny statement, though. I wonder if they got her to retract that or to change her statement. I wonder. Couldn't have been friendlier to her in their limited interactions. Okay, yeah, it sounds really weird now in retrospect, though. The fact remains that President Trump kicked Jeffrey Epstein out of the... Okay, she repeats that, right? Jeffrey Epstein says that's not true. Now, okay, yeah, and then they deny all of this shit, obviously. You know, It's all a lie. It's all a hoax. Okay. So now, is this the one, the Russian one? There's one with this. There's one email that's about some Russian. Let's see here. I hope it's this one. Let me see here. Is it? Let me make this a little bigger. Here we go. There's a lot of, oh, what is this? Cookies? Okay, go ahead. Let me see. Anything about these Russians in this one? I don't see it. So it must be the next one then. Come on. Get this up here. There is. Damn, did I not pull it up or what? Is it this one? I think it is the Financial Times one. I think it's this one. Damn, they want me to. Okay, so screw that. They want me to sign up. That's what it was. Okay, so let me just close this down. 1, 2. Let me go back to this one and see if I can find that article real quick. 2 seconds, y'all. Thanks for your patience. By the way, click like on the video. Subscribe if you haven't subscribed. Now let me find this real quick here. And then we can get to this one last piece. Let's see here. Come on. Okay. Come on. What? What is going on here? Did it not do it or what? Where the hell is this at? I tell you what, let me just open this one up. Oh, there it is. Okay, come on. What am I going to have to do? Restart this or what? Come on. Sorry about the delay, y'all. Something is got my comp going slow right now. Let me see here. Can I do this? Come on now. I think I'm doing too much. Did it do that? Okay. I think we good now. Let me just get this one back open. Yeah, I think I had too many tabs open at one time. Good grief. But let me just get this last article. Come on. And then we can be good. Yeah, because a lot of people haven't seen this one, and it kind of corroborates that there's definitely contact between, not only was there corroborated contact between Russian mafia and Trump, but now it's been corroborated from the other side, which is Jeffrey Epstein's side. He's admitting it in emails that he's been communicating with Russians, with involving blackmail. Okay. And just straight up involving blackmail. And that is really an insane revelation, because from the very beginning, a lot of people were pushing back and were not really discussing the possibility of blackmail or espionage. And this opens the door wide open to that. I mean, it basically lets you know that Epstein was into that kind of stuff. To what degree, it's hard to tell, right? But it does show that he was into that. And let me just get this back open right now. It's open, so I can link it up. And it wasn't by accident. It wasn't just a casual thing. Like, he's done it before. He's admitting inside of these. Did I do that right? Yeah, he's admitting inside of these mails. So let me just pull this up again. Right. Did Epstein say he was giving information to Trump? This is what's widely reported. Okay. Right. This is the Steele dossier, but that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about in emails. All right. Okay, hold on. Look at this. It says numerous individuals in Trump's campaign and transition team had contact with Russians or Russian-linked persons, calls, emails, meetings. Right. And let me just make that a little bigger so y'all can see it. Right. And yeah, like I said, both sides. What about Epstein contacting regarding Trump? Here we go. This is what I was looking for. Now, there are newly released emails from Jeffrey Epstein, which claimed that he had contact with Russian officials regarding Donald Trump. Here are the relevant details. What the emails show in a June 24, 2018 email to Thorbjorn Jagland, then Secretary General of the Council of Europe, Epstein wrote, "I think you might suggest to Putin that Lavrov can get insight on talking to me." The Lavrov is a reference to Sergei Lavrov, Russian foreign minister. Right. So that dude, everybody knows that dude. He's always, handling shit for Putin on the international stage. Epstein also wrote that he had previously held conversations with Vitaly Churkin. Is it Churkin? Russian former UN ambassador, about Trump. Churkin was great. He understood Trump after our conversations. It is not complex. He must be seen to get something. It is that simple. So, yeah, that's what these emails, yeah, they show. In a separate exchange with Larry Summers on July 16, 2018, the day of the Trump-Putin Helsinki summit, Summers asked, "Do the Russians have stuff on Trump?" Damn. Today was appalling, even by his standards. Epstein responded, "My email is full of similar comments. Wow, I'm sure his view is that it went super well. He thinks he has charmed his adversary. Admittedly, he has no idea of the symbolism. He has no idea of most things." God damn. It's like the dude is just calling him a nut. You know what I'm saying? Like, just the whole way. This is crazy. I mean, he's getting it, this shit is crazy. He's just dissing Trump the whole damn time. Okay, let's see here. Important caveats. These are claims represented by Epstein in his own emails. They do not appear to be independently verified admissions that Russian officials, in fact, use Epstein's information, or that a meeting concretely offered. For example, while Epstein proposed a meeting with Lavrov, it's not clear from the publicly released records whether that meeting had ever happened. Right. Okay. Epstein died in 2000. Okay. Now here's the last thing. One more thing. Are there rumors circulating that Russians have information like tapes on Trump that is compromising? Any stories in the last week? Let's see here. Yeah, there was a new story in the last week. I don't know why it wasn't pulled up. I already pulled it up once. What does it say? Hold on. No, there's a new story. I'm going to have to find that later. There's a new story that came up. I don't know when. Okay, what? Oh, yeah, I remember that. There was a governor that asked, "What does Putin have on you?" People have been saying the Russians have shit on Putin. I mean, on Trump for a minute. But there is a new story that's just circulating about this, about Trump. What? Is that what this is? Right here? Let me see if this is it. Oh, so is this the same story? Are they back at the story now? No. This is not. This is a while back. This is still that P story, which is very, very weird. I mean, it's weird to have a story like this out about anybody. Can you imagine if they had a story about anybody? You know, this is ridiculous. You know, I mean, this is not a good story. Whether you say it's true or not, this is not good. Right. This is that Steele dossier stuff. Let me see. On Thursday, Deschanko was taken into custody in Virginia for allegedly lying to FBI, according to an unsealed indictment filed in federal court during the interviews as part of the FBI probe into Trump's connections with Russia, known as Crossfire Hurricane. Deschanko allegedly misled agents about how and when he received. Oh, can you all see this? Yeah, how and when he received some information that ended up in a dossier. Specifically, the indictment accuses Deschanko of covering up his relationship with a public relations executive, longtime participant in the Democratic Party politics, whom was indicted describes as a real source of one or more alleged allegations in the dossier. Okay. Deschanko arrest comes part of the special counsel inquiries into Russia investigation. Now, but what is the... Okay, the Steele dossier claimed that the hotel was known to be under FSB, Russian intelligence control, with microphones and concealed cameras and suggests that Russian authorities had taken advantage of Trump's personal obsession and sexual perversion to obtain compromising material on him. An allegation that gave rise to the legend of infamous and possibly imaginary Trump P tape. Damn, that's so nasty to even say. As recently as October, Steele said he thinks the P tape probably does exist. Okay, maybe this is the actual story, but that Russia hasn't needed to release it yet. The dossier also suggests that Trump's longtime former attorney, Michael Cohen, made a trip to a European city of Prague to further Trump's links to Russia. Cohen continues to insist the claim was nonsense and no meaningful evidence that it took place. Okay. In fact, much of what was in the Steele dossier remains unproven, if not determined to be false. And allies of Trump, including Republican Senator Lindsey Graham, have described like he's a real, I mean, you need Lindsey Graham, you know, you think he's believable? Having described Dushenko as a Russian agent. Well, he might be right about that. I've never been a Russian agent, Dushenko said. Okay. So let me ask y'all this before I'm out of here. How many of you believe that this P tape really exists? If you think the P tape really exists, then put a 1 in the chat. Let me open up the chat real quick. Put a 1 in the chat and let me know. If you don't think it exists, put a 2 in the chat. I just want to see what people think here. I think, for the record, I think the shit is, I think there's something to it. How much there is to it, put 2 in the chat. I just want to, I have no clue. But I believe that there's something to it, you know, myself. I definitely believe there's something to it, and who knows, you know, what else it's about. Let me see here. Let me see what y'all saying real quick. Here we go. Oh, okay. Bits, what's up? I see you keeping people company. Let me see. Let me know if y'all think that dossier is real, if there's anything real about it. Okay, there was something on IG about Trump and Putin. You people get your news from IG and FB. Wow. No, I haven't seen anything on IG or FB, but I have heard. No, I read an article about it. It was last night. I read an article. I just have to find the article. I don't know where it was, but there's a new article about something that is said by a Russian individual that allegedly work with the government, saying that they have information on Trump. Somehow it's resurfaced, you know. And yeah, I don't use IG so much. Okay. Well, let me know if you think it's real. Let me know if you think it's real. I think the shit is real myself. I think it's something to it. You know, because one thing I realize is that within disinformation, there's always some truth, right? And a lot of times it's hard to know if it's truth mixed with a lie or a lie mixed with truth, right? That throws people off. It's all about your interpretation, you know? And sometimes you find out, like you hear about Clinton, right? And being around Jeffrey Epstein, but then you hear Epstein say, nah, Clinton didn't have any, Clinton never went to my island, and Trump is out there saying, ask Clinton, he went to his island. And Epstein in the tapes, in the emails is saying Clinton never went to his island. You see what I mean? Like, so, whether that means Clinton has been involved somehow or has his hands dirty, who knows? But I find it hard to believe that a whole dossier would be made with nothing but fabrications all the way through it. To me, it seems like if you want to fool some people, even if that's your intent, something would be true. So I'm just curious, is it that he's got some other compromising stuff, or is it that the P tape is the real thing that they have on Trump? Who knows, right? Yeah, I don't really know myself, and none of us really know. We're going to have to find out. But in any case, I'm going to be out for the moment. I appreciate you guys. Thanks a lot for chiming in. It's always good to know what people think. Hold on. Somebody wrote, bro, provide the evidence or stop lying. Oh, I'm sorry. I don't know. I guess you haven't been paying attention. You know, we just been going through what the news cycle is saying, and I guess you believe it's all lies. So there you have it. Now, I don't believe it's all lies. But there is actually some new articles. There's a new article. I don't have time to be lying to people, and I don't have time to make things up. I mean, it's all out there in the public. But there is a new article suggesting something about Trump, right? And it's not the first time it's been suggested, by the way. But I noticed it's a newly published article by pretty much reputable news agency. You know, I don't know what that means today, because you can challenge any agency, right? And reputable agencies can be wrong from time to time, right? But yeah, there is this article, and so I wanted to peep it, but I'm gonna see if I can find it, and then I'll get back to you guys. But I appreciate your time and energy, of course. Damn, it's been a few hours now. I gotta get the hell off of here. But I want everybody to stay cool, be good, you know, and hey, we're gonna take it however it comes. But in the meantime, it looks like Trump ain't going to be lasting too long, and it is what it is. So I'm expecting. I know I made this guess before. I know, Bits, I said 10 days a month ago, right? 10 days, I said a month. First I said he ain't going to make it to Christmas, and then given all this other shit that came about a month ago, I was like, oh, he's not going to last 10 days. He's still around, and I'm going back to my original one. I don't think he's going to make it to Christmas, man, because this information, I mean, he might hang on, but I think all the public is going to lose it. I think something's going to come out that's going to be way more damaging, and Trump's just not going to be able to hold on. But on that note, I appreciate everybody. Y'all be good. I'll catch up with y'all in the next 24. All right? See ya. And just relax. And just relax.
Can you feel it? Nothing can save ya, cause this is the season of funky behavior. I came to relax your mind, you can recline. On what? On this here rhyme. I like the style, I'm staying for a while. It helps me show cats that I'm versatile. I'll touch your dial, turn your frown to a smile. I'll make you feel like you're having a child. So relax and open up, child. I'm about to make you walk what? Pimp style or pimped out style. You don't understand the logic. See, if you don't have it all, I'll take a deposit. I got shit for you, it's alright indeed. It's like going to the garden and planting the seed. It might tickle for a second, but it won't bleed. So just relax, just hear a dope ride. The vibes is real nice, everything is real fat. You don't have to do work, we do that. It's the type of place where you can wear your hat. Just relax, and just hear a dope ride. The vibes is real nice, everything is real fat. You don't have to do work, we do that. It's the type of place where you can wear your hat. Your entertainment, at the same time, edutainment. In other words, you could call it bent. What I'm saying is that I'm here at your service. It's hard work, but then again, I deserve this. I'm helping people enjoy their spare time. I'm like an instructor when I'm doing my rhyme. Relax and just hit the dope track. It's really not all that, it's not like a gag. We like that when everything is relaxed and chill. You don't have to get fucked up or take pills, cause I like being myself, it feels good. Yo, it makes my meals taste good. 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 So just relax. It's your dope ride. The vibes is real nice, everything is real fat. You don't have to do work, we do that. It's the type of place where you can wear your hat. Just relax and hear a dope ride. The vibes is real nice, everything is real fat. You don't have to do work, we do that. It's the type of place where you can wear your hat. Just relax. My mind state, now balloon, it won't inflate. Just take the buzz, this much wiser, kid, fuck the shade. And take it to a lower level, and dig a ditch for a devil. Got some more kids and pass the shovel. Dig a hole, take them on a spiritual roll. Lyrics unfold, either that or unroll the scroll. Episodes keep reoccurring and stifling people's vision. get blurring, their hearts start murmuring.
See a whack MC when he bustin', but I just back away real cool, no fussin'. I'd rather go kicking in the streets with the bums and use the knowledge to collect what? Some funds, open a non-profit and build a damn school. And this is the story of how a great king rules. There's many that claim to know the local demographic, but don't have the nerve to tell you the truth. It's tragic, but I do, so sit back and let me spit this shit to you. You feel better when I spit this shit to you. Despite the system trying to clamp down on the people will learn how to stand up to evil. Not evil that's across the globe, that's too far. But evil lies in their own backyard. And fighting, it's not an option, they can't win. The government, it's not supposed to represent sin. But then again they do, and that's a problem. So let's go down and figure out how to solve them. It's not fun being a rapper that can't speak, but we do, yes, and plus we make fat beats. Yo, we smoke weed, break up trees. So listen, bringing fat beats, that is our mission. You wanted to see us, homeboy, shut up and listen. Thelonious and Big Bennett, brother, check the vision. Mentality.
Ladies and gentlemen.
They want war. Crime babies looking for food. Starvation, the recipe. People subdued. When the people you trust got it in for you. Deceit is the word of the day in every crew. Don't let it go. It's from the days of old. Time is up, but some still do not know. Can I make up my mind? Is it worth the dime? Do I have to take a minute just to make it mine? Life's never fair, but don't listen to the TV. Go out and take a listen to the streets with the people in the slums and the homeless bums with degrees and degrees sitting under a tree. It's not easy in the world for the poor man, the one that brought you to reality. See, they don't want you to know about the black sheep. Even 7 roads to the 12 families all around the globe with an ancient code. Is it really asking a lot to say a death old? Cause we sitting on the earth looking back at extinct, and I'm standing on some ground that's about to sink. I ain't scared for a minute, I ain't about to blink, but I documented for the world what I see and think. Feel we on the call and up and we on the break. All Congress gonna do is waste paper and ink. Vote or die. You voted and you'll die. You can have it both ways, can't say it's a lie. You can march all you want, but they playing you wrong. They only understand war, it's the same old song.
They want war. All they really want is a war. Diversionary tactic to make the big score. The diamonds in the morning, you know they want more, but they wanna keep you low, so they manifest the war. War. All they really want is a war. Diversionary tactic to make the big score. The diamonds in the morning, you know they want more, but they wanna keep you low, so they manifest the war.
Like a lotus coming out of the mud with colors, I create envy in those with power but jealous. I unify the poor with my song, the hell with the others. Descended the way they treat indigenous brothers, cause I understand we